Have you been?
I have seen both, and nothing against Taylor
Wait a minute,
Swift.
hang on. When have you been to a Taylor Swift show?
I have not. I've seen Taylor Swift shows and different.
Where?
I give credit to Taylor Swift. Well, online and on TV. I'm
so
saying
you sit
Beyonce,
at home
though,
online and watch Taylor Swift shows?
You always take a left turn when I'm trying to stay on the highway and make a point. My point is Beyonce is the greatest performer in music.
But
I
don't know how you can judge that when you've never seen the other one perform.
There is no one greater than Beyonce on a stage when it comes to performing. I believe that.
But you've never seen the other one.
I haven't seen it live, yeah, but I would still believe it.
I mean, then I'm gonna say the greatest of all time was George Jones, and I haven't seen anybody. I mean, you gotta see everything before you decide it. I just feel like
I've seen it, just not
you
live.
have. It is clear to me, Myron, for a long time you don't like Taylor Swift. I don't know what she did to you, but you're not a fan. I think she's an obvious Super Bowl performer.
There was a lot of reports over the summer that she turned it down.
She turned it down.
Well, those are just reports out there.
Yeah, she might be, Myron, too big for the Super Bowl.
Listen, man, you're saying I turned it down. I listened to Midnights. What do you mean? Lavender Haze was incredible. Anti-Hero. I'm a music connoisseur. Okay. So I'm not somebody. I know you want to put me in a box where
but you don't think you're a music connoisseur, but you don't think Taylor Swift's big enough to play the Super Bowl.
I know you think I only listen to Wu-Tang Clan and Mary J. Blige. Okay, I understand that's how you view me, Matt. But I have an expansive musical.
So just yes or no, is Taylor Swift big enough to play the Super Bowl?
That wasn't the question. You see, you changed it, man.
I'm asking you now.
Course.
I'm now asking you yes.
She had the biggest tour in the world.
Okay.
Of course.
Right. Just make it.
I didn't say big. I was talking about performance. Come on, man. Those are two different questions.
Well, Myron, who did you say pre-show that you wanted to perform at the halftime show?
Mariah Carey. That would have been my pick. I wanted to see
Taylor Swift is 10 times as big as Mariah Carey.
Did you say it was my show, right, Mark? It was who I wanted.
Okay. It was who you wanted.
All right, guys.
It was who I wanted.
It's
was
the
it
Super
me?
Bowl
Okay.
halftime
Thank
show
you.
for Myron
Oh,
Metcalf.
thank you. Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys played today at Arizona. Who knows who'll be playing at halftime? Maybe Wu-Tang and Mary J. Blige. Dallas is a 13-point favorite. They've outscored their opponents by 60 points through 2 games. But they did lose Trayvon Diggs. And now we will see a Cowboys defense that has been absolutely dominant in the first 2 games. They've only allowed 2 points, which is the second fewest points allowed through 2 games in team history. Do you think that domination continues today, Myron, or will the defense suffer a setback losing Diggs?
I think Diggs is a big, big loss. I mean, at his position, I think he was one of the best. So unfortunate for it to happen in practice like that, but they're deeper than that. You know, they have other weapons. I think the defense will still be very good. If Micah Parsons is out there, you have to wonder where he is at all times just because he's so versatile. And I think offensively, they have some questions down too. I mean, they have a lot of problems on the offensive line. Zach Martin and others have been banged up this week, so that could be a challenge for a guy in Dak Prescott who in the past has had issue, obviously, avoiding sacks, interceptions. But Arizona has been in some games. Like, it's almost like they're doing tanking perfectly, Matt. If you're really going to tank, but you don't want to make it obvious, you make this incredible effort most of the game. And then they've just lost at the end.
Like, they've been super competitive. I mean,
they have been very.
Josh Dobbs has been surprisingly good.
Really good.
Throughout the thing. I mean, the Giants' comeback was unfortunate for them, but through 2 games have played well. I think they'll lose today, but Myron, it wouldn't shock me if this game was a game in the 3rd or 4th quarter. I got to give Arizona a lot of credit. In a year that they have every incentive in the world to lose every game, they have been not by far the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a win for them if they cover, right? Because who would have expected that, considering what they had at stake with the possible number 1 pick? I think it's more about Dallas without Trayvon. I think it's more about Dallas saying, okay, yes, everybody's talking about the Dolphins. Yes, everybody's talking about the 49ers. We're in that class too. So they got to keep playing this way to have the confidence that comes with that, because I think they could be a Super Bowl team, but games like this should be dominant if that's what you are.
There are probably very, very few teams or very, very few times that Jacksonville has been a touchdown favorite on anybody. How many times do you think that's happened in the last 5 years?
I don't know.
Maybe none. If it has, it's not happened much. They are a 7.5-point favorite today against Houston. And C.J. Stroud, I think, has played really well, Myron. I mean, probably the best of the rookie quarterbacks. They've lost both games, but they've been competitive in both games. Any chance – I mean, I always try to look for what's the game where we might get a shocking result today? Am I insane to think it's the Texans winning in Jacksonville?
No, and I think history will show – I feel like the last 5 years we've done this show, Houston beat somebody they had no business beating. It's felt like that, right? So that could happen. I mean, you watched that Jacksonville-Kansas City game last weekend. Jacksonville had multiple opportunities to get ahead in that game. There were big turnovers. There were great opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize. That offense isn't clicking consistently, and they got to figure that out. Whereas you know what you get in C.J. Stroud. They can't defend against anybody. They can't run the ball. But a big C.J. Stroud game, again, could at least keep them in it into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville is 1-1. I think you could make an argument that they could have won last week if they just make a couple of plays differently, and then they're 2-0. I still think they are my sleeper team to be really, really good this year. But if you're going to be that, you've got to win at home against Houston. The problem they seem to have is while Trevor Lawrence is playing well, it doesn't seem like to me, Myron, he can find a consistent receiver or two that he trusts. They've played a bunch of people, but no one's getting many stats because they're kind of not – it's almost like they haven't really found what their offense is going to be yet.
Yeah, I mean, they went out and got Calvin Ridley. Obviously, you're hoping that he can be a big deal. Zay Jones has played, had his moments, but you're right. They haven't gotten into a rhythm. But remember, the last 2 years under Trevor Lawrence, they always start slow. That's kind of what Jacksonville has done. And then they turned it on last year and had that miraculous finish. I think they'll hit their stride much earlier this year. Yeah.
Well, one person writes in, for those of you that don't know, I have a text machine, 772-774-5254. You can write comments. One person writes and goes, Matt, I'm in Maryland. I really like Myron quite a bit, but my daughter is listening and very upset about the comments about Taylor Swift. Please give him a chance to redeem himself in my daughter's eyes. Have him say exactly what he thinks of Taylor Swift so that she will realize this is a good show with good people on it. The floor is yours, Myron.
So here's the thing about Matt Jones and work with him that I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. So Matt Jones will kind of put you in a corner a little bit, and I think that's what he did with the Taylor Swift thing. I didn't say anything negative about Taylor Swift. I just said I think Beyonce is the greatest.
But now's your chance to redeem yourself and give your unvarnished Taylor Swift thoughts.
Beyonce is the greatest performer on a stage since Michael Jackson.
But who's bringing Beyonce up?
But that was what we were talking about. I didn't say anything negative about Taylor Swift. I just said I think Beyonce's a better performer. But listen, Taylor Swift, Midnights, of course I've heard the album. Of course I respect her storytelling and songwriting. She's a big deal, 100%. But I don't think I'm not a Beyonce versus Taylor Swift person. I don't get into that. I'm just telling you what I think.
Mark, it doesn't sound like he said anything nice during that whole thing, right? Like he just said, I've listened to the album and I respect her. That's all he said. That's not, Mark, that's not very complimentary.
Listen to the album, 1989, Red. I've listened to all of them. What are y'all talking about? I know her catalog.
I'm sorry to the guy in Maryland and his daughter. I tried to give him a chance to save himself. He just doesn't understand that T Swift is the diva that she is in a good way, like a queen.
Nobody better than Beyonce. That's all right.
Countdown to kickoff. What is happening with my Chicago Bears? Do they just give up the season? Is it over? Can they get something out of a tumultuous week? We'll deal with that next here on Countdown to Kickoff with Matt Jones and the Taylor Swift hater, Myron Metcalf, on ESPN Radio.
Say that, man.
The hunt for October continues on ESPN Radio. The San Francisco Giants, in the midst of the NL wildcard race, head to Los Angeles to face the National League West champion Dodgers.
Back in left field. Home run for Mitch Haniger.
Coverage begins today at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Don't miss out on the best gaming in Chicagoland. Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana, where we're sure to have the action you crave. The choice is yours with a world-class selection of over 1,700 slots and 80 table games. Enjoy some of your favorite games like blackjack, roulette, craps, and baccarat. A roll of the dice or a spin of the reels, and you could be a winner. Live life at max volume at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6, I-80-94. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is ESPN Chicago's Adam Abdalla.
Hi.
And this is Abdalla's stomach. The stomach knows the cure for all this rumbling and growling.
Yep, it's the spicy honey butter chicken sandwich from Fry the Coop.
Fry the Coop, now with 8 Chicagoland locations.
Try it for yourself. The new Fry the Coop in Lincoln Park is amazing.
Fry the Coop. The cure for a rumbly tummy.
Hey guys, it's Sylvia. I want to tell you about my friends at Window Nation. I've told you about them for a while now, and there are more reasons to call them than ever. Right now, they've got a great deal going. The more you buy, the more you're going to save. I could throw you a bunch of numbers about buying X amount of windows, and then you're going to save this much, but you can save up to 50%. And I've called them a few different times. I've replaced the windows in my kitchen. I've replaced the windows in my master bedroom, the kids' room, all over the house. But the reason I love Window Nation is because they have saved me money in the short term and in the long term on the energy bills, because I haven't had any payments for 2 full years, and they've saved me up to 50% on my windows. Plus, the best customer service around. They're never going to upsell you. So yes, you're going to save more on the deals that they have, but if you don't need to buy more, they're not going to force you to buy more. They're going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com.
There are gas stations, there are convenience stores, and then there are Pride stores. Nothing compares to the Pride stores. Everything you need, name brands, and then craft sodas and nitro brewed coffee on draft made by the Pride at select locations. Whether I'm in need of a quick meal at one of their delicious restaurants or just a gas fill-up, I always seek out a Pride location. They are family-owned and operated with 16 Chicagoland locations, proudly offering BP or Amoco gasoline with Invigorate. So visit a Pride store today, not your typical convenience store.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. My why is diversity in unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
Crosstalk Unhinged, the podcast. It's can't miss radio that can't be played on the radio. Get the podcast on the ESPN Chicago app, presented by Blue Chew.
No one in our entire building, none of our coaches see Justin as a finger pointer at all. And everyone's on board helping him get into that place for him to be successful.
It's our job to give him those opportunities to do it well and make him feel like he's comfortable in doing that. And I think he's starting to get more comfortable with the guys he's playing with, and he's starting to do a much better job with that as well.
You bring in new people who on some level want their own guy in there anyway. That is organizational incompetence. It's an organizational failure.
People are not being very nice to my Chicago Bears, but so far the season hasn't been nice to them either. It's countdown to kickoff on ESPN Radio. He's Myron Metcalf. I'm Matt Jones. Bears. All right, 12.5-point underdog today against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's been a bad week for the Bears. I mean, a bad week. You started with Justin Fields saying that the play calling was the problem and then having to walk that back. Then you had drama with the Bears defensive coordinator. It's not even clear what exactly happened, except he's no longer the defensive coordinator. And now they play the Chiefs, maybe the best team in the NFL. It is not going well to start the year. I am a Justin Fields fan. I thought at times last year he looked very good, but the Bears have lost like 175 straight games. So at some point you do have to win. And I'm not saying I'm wavering on Fields. I actually am wavering. I'm not saying I'm done with him. But, Myron, in 2 years, is Justin Fields the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears?
Not at this rate, and they have 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. They get the Carolina pick as a result of the Bryce Young move, and they still have their other first-round picks. So there's a world where there's a package where they could move up in this draft, maybe be at the top of this draft, and you've got Drake May, you've got Caleb Williams, maybe Shedeur Sanders or someone like that emerges. So I just don't think if you're the Bears, Matt, you can put yourself in another Mitch Trubisky situation. You can't wait and see after this year and just hope he improves. My problem with the coaching comment is that's the kind of comment that's reserved for a quarterback who's doing his part. And Justin Fields hasn't done that. So he came off to me as arrogant and a guy who lacks self-awareness.
Well, it's also an odd comment because he said that he thought the Bears play calling was making him play robotic. But I've watched these games, and I actually think the one thing I would say is that my criticism is almost the opposite. It's not that he's too robotic. It's that it feels like there's almost nothing designated for him to do, that the play kind of turns into him running around and seeing what he can do almost too quickly. So I found it oddly, again, I don't know the play that's called, but when I watch the Bears, I almost find it more disorganized. He was almost acting like they are taking away all of my sort of freedom. I have almost felt like he has too much freedom, and that actually, while he is great in the open space, that I sort of have wanted them to have more like set action. So maybe I'm just seeing something differently than him, but I thought it was an odd complaint.
Yeah, the numbers are showing they're throwing a lot of short passes, which aren't working. He is 5 of 6 on deep balls. I mean, that is one thing that it sounds like he wants to do more of. But remember, he comes into the season saying he's the best running quarterback of our generation. I think he named himself top 5 all time.
You really don't like when people say things like that.
No, here's
when
here's
Ellie said he was the fastest guy in the world. Like, you just don't like that stuff.
Here's my thing. Back it up. Ellie actually did that for a chunk of the season. If you're going to talk about where you stand among the greats, like Justin Fields did, then you got to come into this season and show up. Here's the reality of the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. If there is not a significant turnaround in the next 3 to 5 games for the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields won't be your quarterback next year because he can't be. You can't Mitch Trubisky this thing again. You can't invest in a guy who might be a solution if he tweaks this, and that. You have to move on. Justin Fields, whether he realizes it or not, is playing for his future. And if you're going to say coaching, Matt, after you came into the season and said, I'm one of the greats at running around, at running in this position, and you play like that, you got to own that. It's not coaching completely. It's you not executing. And they've given you pieces to execute. Now, the offensive line has had some issues, but Justin Fields has to prove he can elevate a team despite the adversity, and he hasn't proven he can do that yet.
No, he hasn't, and we'll see. I think the Chiefs roll them today, and then I think you got to decide over the next 3 or 4 games, all right, what are you, Justin Fields? Because I think when they looked at that schedule and saw Packers at home and then Tampa Bay, they thought we could be 2-0 going in the Chiefs. Instead, they're 0-2 and have played poorly in both games. That's not what they were hoping for. Now, Seattle is playing against Carolina. Poor Carolina. I mean, that you talk about for Bryce Young. I'm not sure he even has a chance with that offensive line. But the Seahawks, on the other hand, look great in week 1, a little disappointing in the last one. Where do you see them? And do you think Bryce Young has any chance? He's out today. Andy Dalton's going to start. But do you think long term, is that situation too bad for him to have success?
I mean, I think they're going to invest a lot around him. I think you have to give him more weapons. I think the defense has some potential. The problem and the question remains, Matt, can a 5'9" quarterback at his size make it in this NFL? Like, he's not Kyler Murray, who's kind of thicker, Russell Wilson, kind of bigger. He's a tiny dude, man, in a league that just doesn't have players like that anymore. So I think the durability question has to be the biggest one for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, man. Is he too small to play in today's NFL? I think that's a valid question, and that's going to be the thing that he has to deal with probably for his entire career. I think with the Seahawks, you talked about 1-1 teams, 0-2 teams. How the Seahawks finished against the Lions last week was incredible, and it was important. They beat the Lions. They end the Jared Goff interception streak, and they put themselves in a 1-1 spot which is important, I think, for Seattle. They actually might be 2-0. Maybe I'm messing.
No, they're
up.
1-1. They're 1-1.
They're 1-1. But that was a big finish for them to come into this game and have some momentum. You beat Carolina, you kind of keep rolling along. But I think Bryce Young might be too small to play in this NFL, and I don't know what you do about that.
Yeah, well, you can't do anything about it. I mean, that's what I thought going in the draft. I still don't know how those 4 quarterbacks are going to end up shaking out when all things are done. But I think if you had it to do over again, I think the safe pick would look like C.J. Stroud, right? Like, I mean, Bryce Young was considered the safe pick at the time. I'm not sure that people would say that now. We're getting some people writing in about the show. One person writes, Matt, I want to say I listen to you guys, and I think you're the most entertaining thing on ESPN Radio. That's very nice. But Myron always likes to ask guests when they're in Wisconsin if they've had a Kopp's burger, but he can't stand when you bring up Cincinnati chili. Tell him to quit having such a double standard.
Okay. That's fine. Is that a Cincinnati person?
No, I don't know. It's
okay.
I don't know where this.
Let me ask
the area code is 814. Where is that? I'll look up and see where 814 is. But go ahead.
Let me just say this for those who don't know. My full-time job is I cover college basketball for ESPN. I've traveled everywhere. I've literally been everywhere around America, right? So it's not like I'm saying these things and I haven't experienced them. Been to Cincinnati many times. You all need to chill, no pun intended, on the chili. Stop forcing chili onto us.
But why do you force Kopp's burgers on all of us?
Because I want you to leave happy. I'm trying to enhance your life.
But the chili is good. It's great, as a matter of fact. It's one of America's great resources.
A burger universally is the kind of thing where you go, I want to find the best burger in town. We all can relate to that. No one says that about chili. But as soon as you land, you got to go buy us that $3.19 chili.
It's more than $3.19.
You got, because if you don't, anywhere you go in Cincinnati, people go, have you had the chili? What do you think about our chili? Stop forcing your chili onto us. We don't care. Okay, I said it.
So Emily says, Myron is 100% right. No one has anything on Beyonce in terms of performance, and this is coming from a Swiftie, but Taylor Swift is definitely talented enough to play the Super Bowl.
I didn't say she wasn't.
Myron hates Taylor Swift. And
I did not say Taylor Swift wasn't talented.
Chili and Taylor Swift, 2 of America's favorite things.
Okay,
Myron
have you listened to Midnights? Have you listened to Midnights?
Listen, I'm not the one out here talking trash. I think Taylor.
Have you heard Midnights? Have you heard the Till Dawn edition?
I'm a Swiftie from the start.
Okay.
We will do fantasy.
Okay.
If you have fantasy questions, 888-SAY-ESPN. Get them in now. Fantasy next.
I felt like I wasn't necessarily playing my game. I felt like I was kind of robotic and not playing like myself.
I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be forthright with what he's saying. And then can we work through this together to get him to play free and to have him have that flow?
In the end, unacceptable play from the quarterback.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Bears head coach Matt Eberflus joins Cap and J Hood every Monday morning at 8:30 on ESPN Chicago, the new home of the Chicago Bears. How could you ever miss the Bleck and Abdalla show? It's stupendous, spectacular, and seriously silly. Well, friends, if you have to miss it, listen to the podcast. Get it at your fave pod place or on the ESPN Chicago app. The Bleck and Abdalla podcast, brought to you by Fry the Coop.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you is.
When your kid can't find the language, Help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's recyclable coffee cup factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's gotta be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at nordvpn.com.
Live from the Old National Bank State Street Studio, this is WMVP WSAG HD2 Chicago, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Welcome to the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Eberflus. It's Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. Bears and Chiefs live from Arrowhead this afternoon. You'll hear the game right here on ESPN 1000, 325. And Abdalla, as we start today's show, you're more than welcome to join us at 312-332-3776. This might be the lowest point I've felt with a Bears team with a new head coach, a new quarterback, development, essentially a team that's supposed to be moving forward. This might be the lowest I've felt about this team in a long, long time. And right off the bat, like if this turns into something where it's 42-10, 42-17, something like that, the Bears get blown out today, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I have very little expectations from this group, the head coach, the quarterback, almost anyone on the team going into this matchup. Have you ever felt this way going into a game in a season where we knew that they weren't intentionally trying to lose games, right? Because like at the end of last season, you could say, yeah, there's times where it's like they weren't supposed to compete. But right now, going into today's matchup against this team, that quarterback, that head coach, whew, can Bears fans find anything to be excited about right now?
I think the last time I felt like this was when Mark Trestman was the head coach, and they gave up back-to-back 50-point games with a bye in between. Like, you gave up 50 points. I forget whether it was the Packers or the Patriots first. I think it was the Patriots first, if I'm not mistaken. And then you're like, well, that's not good. And then you're like, all right, bye, week, regroup, Packers. And then, again, like you had 2 weeks to prepare, and this is what you did. So I think since then is when this is the lowest I've felt going into a game. This has like, and you hope that going into this game that, you know, with all the turmoil going on up at Hallis Hall this week with Justin Fields saying that it's coaching and then saying that it's not coaching, and then Matt Eberflus saying that, you know, coming out and talking after him, and then, you know, Justin Fields calling the press conference or calling reporters over to his locker afterwards, and then Ryan Poles has to step to the podium the next day, and then everything going on with Alan Williams, and now Matt Eberflus is calling plays again for the defense. It feels like there should be some form of, hey, let's band together, let's circle the wagons, that kind of thing, and maybe put up some points against your next opponent. The problem is your next opponent is the best team in the NFL and the reigning Super Bowl champions and the best quarterback in the NFL, and you have a very bad defense, and their defense is good, and they got their best defensive player back, and Travis Kelce's back, and it's not going to be great.
Yeah, so the point here is that there's a lot going on this week with the Bears internally, and then also you look ahead at the actual competition on the field, and this team doesn't stand up to it. And it's something that we've covered on our show at nights this week, is like Matt Eberflus is now entering an era where this was supposed to be good vibes moving forward, but right now, Eberflus, if we go back to week 7 of last year, it's the last time they won. Dramatic pause. That was for the effect because they beat the Patriots week 7. It was the almighty mini bye. Congrats to Eberflus. He coached them up on the mini bye on national TV. Since that point, the Bears have not won a game. And what's even worse to me is this idea that they're not even competitive. In 12 games, they've only covered twice against the spread. Now, you might say, hey, only gamblers care about that, this, that, and the other. The point that I'm making is that that's against the expectation. At no point in 12 games has this team surprised anybody. And I think that's where, I was watching the game against Tampa Bay, and I continued to think about two things. One thing was, I don't know if they're necessarily playing for the head coach. I don't know if he and his schematics defensively are good enough in today's day and age where quarterbacks are so smart, offenses are so smart, and everything is just so much better offensively. It's all oriented differently than the way it was when, like, the cover 2 was reigning supreme, and especially in the days here in Chicago when it was Lovie Smith that was running the show. I think the one thing that I think about is, like, this team is not even showing up in some situations. And this year, when everything was supposed to be better, the fact that you come out on the opener at home against your arch rival, you lose by 18. The next week, you have an opportunity to bounce back. You don't. Yeah. You're on the road. You don't. You lose by 10, Tampa Bay last week. Bad mistakes down the stretch. It looks like the quarterback's going backwards in his development process. And I think the thing that sticks out when I'm watching the Tampa Bay game is that the Packers and the Buccaneers are not Super Bowl contenders. These are two teams that the Bears are supposed to be on par with, at least competing with. And so when I look at the last 12 games and the Bears have only covered twice, it's a number in Vegas, but it's also showing that whenever they're an underdog, they don't show up at all. And I think that's where you see today against Kansas City. They're a 12.5-point underdog. To me, I would lean Kansas City big, way over, before I would start to contemplate whether or not this team can keep it close and almost try and win a ball game late in the fourth quarter. I don't think that that's possible with this group. I don't think that that's what this is. It just, the dog isn't hunting. You know what I mean? Like, it just, there's something about this that doesn't sit right. And that's why, like, this whole conversation of looking back at the end of the Tampa Bay game, you can blame the quarterback. I have this week. You have. We all have, right? He was bad against the Buccaneers. That pick 6, the screen pass that he threw, you can't do that. He needs to be better. I don't know if this coach is any good. And like, that's the way, that was my takeaway from the Tampa Bay game was, I don't think this coach is going to be here for a long time, because I don't think this is it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, like, if you just look at if you take the names out of it, right? Take the Bears and the Chiefs out of it, and you're just like, all right, here's a team that is a double-digit road dog in a late window national TV. The first few weeks of the season, high spread road dogs have covered pretty well. But then you put everything that's kind of gone into this week. And, like, normally, like I said, teams would rally around it. But you're seeing that, like, I don't think the team has given up on Matt Eberflus. Like, they only won 3 games last year. They've lost 12 games in a row. At no point has it looked like this team has quit on Matt Eberflus. Like, yeah, you say, okay, well, the score doesn't dictate that, but they're still playing tough. You're not seeing guys just, besides Chase Claypool, just kind of loafing out there, and then the team addressed it with Chase Claypool. He played better last week, but it still wasn't great. There are moments that you look at on the film, you're like, okay, well, the
floor is so low for Claypool.
I know
that one touchdown catch and running some routes with a little effort is like, oh, he had a bounce back game.
Claypool's like me when I came home from school and, like, I get your report card and you'd be like, well, like, I didn't fail anything. I got 1 D+ and, like, of some C's and some B's. Like, what's wrong with that? That's good. Like, the floor is very low for what we expect for Chase Claypool. And, like, he was a guy who needs to perform because he's on a contract year. I don't think he's going to be a Bear after this year, the way the team has, kind of addressed his situation and that kind of thing. It'd also be, Nate Davis wasn't really on, like, the injury report much this week. He'll be, to see if he's out there. He's listed as questionable for today's game. He was limited in practice on Friday. Also, Eddie Jackson has the foot injury. Didn't practice all week this week. He's doubtful. Probably not going to play.
No. He didn't travel with the team. He's ruled out.
So he's out. He's out so far.
The Bears announced that yesterday. He didn't travel with the team. So Eddie Jackson's out. Did not travel. Foot injury. Will not play today.
So he's out, and that's going to be a problem for this secondary, because as much as people crap on Eddie Jackson, oh, he's not great anyway. Like I said all of last year when we were dealing with depth issues on this team, just wait. Like, the depth on this team is still not very good. I thought that this team would come in 2-0. I thought that they would beat the Packers like a lot of people did. I thought that they would, even after they lost to the Packers, like a lot of other people did, I thought that they would go in to Tampa and win. But that defense let Baker Mayfield look like he was still playing at Oklahoma. Like, that's how good that they let Baker. He was making moves. He was making sidearm throws. Like, this defense, they're 26th in defensive DVOA. On paper, the eye test says that they're one of the worst defenses in the league. Whenever a team wants a third down against the Bears, it's almost automatic. Like, they cannot get off the field to save their lives. And that's just the defensive side of the ball. Like, Justin Fields, for everything that has been said this week, is still not looking and taking the steps that we thought he was going to take this year. And that's a problem. Like, he's not getting any better. They eliminated a lot of the excuses for him. They got him a number one wide receiver. They revamped the offensive line. You just haven't seen it yet, and that's what's disappointing. And I don't think you're going to see it again today.
Well, name another defensive-minded head coach that in the past had no top-level defense that went to a Super Bowl, that then got a head coaching job, and then when he became the head coach, that side of the ball is actually the weakest side of the ball. The Bears right now are 31st in the league in defensive yards per play.
Mm-hmm.
Eberflus is the defensive-minded head coach. Eberflus also, think back in your mind. Those who are defensive-minded head coaches that get head coaching jobs are usually defensive coordinators who make Super Bowl runs.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinators who have great defenses. The Colts in the last couple of years under Eberflus, when he was hired, you and I laid out that didn't quite make sense.
Okay.
They were good.
Yeah,
they were good.
They're fine.
They were good. Never
Fine.
top four.
No.
Never the best, right? Like, in today's league where it's all offensive-minded guys who are getting head coaching jobs, we said that's a little strange. And now, heading into year two, the 31st in defensive yards per play. Where's the improvement on defense whatsoever? He's the guy. This is on Eberflus. So, like, quarterback could be bad. The offense could be struggling. The head coach could also be not great either. And his defense, the defensive side of the ball, is clearly an issue. 31st in defensive yards per play.
Mm-hmm.
DVOA suggests what? They're
26th.
What? They're 26. So you could look at the efficiency ratings. You could look at the raw data.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working. And they don't get to the quarterback. You mentioned third down. I mean, Baker had all the time he wanted. Jordan Love had all the time he wanted.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I've seen Patrick Mahomes play some football before. He doesn't need all the time in the world to rip apart your defense. So Bears, because it's what they want to do, is just allow a quarterback to have a leisurely stroll on a Sunday, untouched, that I would imagine Mahomes is going to be pretty good today.
Well, and they're also looking to, like, quote, get right, because they've struggled offensively so far this year. I think they'll be able to find a way. You know who comes to mind, right? Not the best team in the world. Obviously not the best offense. Questions at quarterback, but their defense is always really good, right? When he's been there. The Commanders, Ron Rivera.
Yeah, Ron Rivera.
Like, that comes to mind, right? The team's not great. The offense isn't good. Your quarterback, not for me. But their defense keeps them in games.
Respectable. I would say the same could go for Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio coach teams usually find a way to become middle of the pack, if not a top level defense. And then, who knows if they can actually win. But, like, I think that's where you look at this whole thing, and we could all just blame the quarterback for all of the issues.
No.
Well, he does need to be better.
No. I'm not saying
he needs to play better football.
If you're a person that says there is one singular problem, then you're not watching the entire game, right? There's not one singular problem on this football team. It's not just the quarterback or just the coaching or just the defense. It is everything. Everything is the problem right now. And it couldn't be more evident than this team off the field and on it being a laughing stock right now in the NFL. Like, that's what Watch NFL Live, watch First Take, watch Get Up, watch any national show. Everybody around the NFL is talking about what the hell is going on in Chicago right now.
Dalton in South Dakota. You're on ESPN 1000, listening to ESPN Chicago. What's up, Dalton?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Sadly, a lifelong Bears fan. I see how all the players are telling the fans that we need to calm down and everything, but we've seen it time and time again. I think the writing almost is on the wall. Like, everyone's just waiting for the season to totally unravel, for Eberflus to be gone next year, and I think it all goes back to the organization. They brought in Poles when they already had the 3 head coaches that they wanted, so he hired Eberflus. And then his whole philosophy and what it's done to Fields, it's just trickled all the way down. I think that it always starts at the top, and I see that on Bears Twitter. That's a big topic this weekend. But everything that Eberflus and his philosophy and what it's done to Fields, I just don't understand why we hired why we hired a defensive head coach. And now at the end of this year, we still, I don't know if we're really going to know what Fields is.
Thanks for the call, Dalton. Thanks for listening to the ESPN Chicago app out in South Dakota. I'd say this. The reason they hired a defensive-minded coach, I'm guessing, is because it's comfortable. It's what they're used to. It's how people do business in this city. I would imagine it's, think about it. We love linebackers.
Yeah.
Deep dish pizza. I mean, tourists do. I mean, the locals love the tavern style. But I would say, there are many things that people love and they don't want change. I would imagine a piece of that is the bias that, defense wins championships. They tried offensive guys. Trustman, Nagy, hasn't worked out. Let's go back to defense. At least we're comfortable with that. I would imagine that that's the case.
But I can guarantee you that the next head coach will be offensive-minded.
Of course, because they botched this.
Well, you know why, though, right? So, Lovey, defense. Trestman,
flippy-floppy.
John Fox, defense. Matt Nagy, offense. Now you've got Eberflus, defense. What's next? The trend is the trend. They're going to go with an offensive-minded head coach next.
Dean in Valparaiso, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Dean?
Hey, guys. I appreciate what you said about disappointing defense. And I guess I was calling because in the preseason, and I know that's just vanilla defenses and everything, but just the way that the backup guy moved the offense compared to what I've seen out of the first quarterback, I just hope that they eventually give him a chance. I think they're going to, because the reality is Fields is going to start running again. I think we'll probably see improvement, but he's going to get hurt. I mean, you look at all these great running quarterbacks, they eventually get hurt, and sometimes it happens sooner rather than later. So Bajan's going to end up getting a chance, but it seems like when I listen to the stations, everybody's really down on that. Like, well, he can't be anything because he's a Division II guy. But, I mean, we're not having anything now. So, I mean, I think he's going to get a chance. I just hope he gets, enough of a chance to where we see if they have anything in him. And I do have faith in Warren and Poles just from what I've seen in the drafts moves they made to get draft capital and kind of recover where they're at from, years of not having it. So I still have faith in them. I know we want to blame ownership, and you have to look at their record. I agree. But those last 2 hires have at least given me hope. The head coach hire, like you guys have pointed out, nothing proven there. And after maybe this year they'll let him go, and then Kevin Warren will make sure that we get somebody that's going to give us hope again. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your guys' show.
Yeah, thanks, John. Bleck and Abdalla here on a Sunday, talking to you on ESPN 1000. I'm more concerned about the head coach than the quarterback. What do you think? 312-332-3776. Who concerns you more, Matt Eberflus or Justin Fields?
The new home of the Chicago Bears.
What's up? It's Tyler Rocky. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 guaranteed in bonus bets, whether your first bet wins or loses. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, futures, same-game parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Tyler and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/Tyler. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You must be 21 and older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The game is on the line. You need your best play. What's it gonna be? Do you make the call for welding or HVAC? Do it now and you could complete your education at ETI School of Skilled Trades in as little as 7 months. We offer day and evening classes to fit your schedule, and financial aid is available if you qualify. Visit eticampus.edu or call 888-830-7678 to learn more. ETI, it's your future. Own it.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
Hey guys, it's Sylvia. I want to tell you about my friends at Window Nation. I've told you about them for a while now, and there are more reasons to call them than ever. Right now, they've got a great deal going. The more you buy, the more you're going to save. I could throw you a bunch of numbers about buying X amount of windows, and then you're going to save this much, but you can save up to 50%. And I've called them a few different times. I've replaced the windows in my kitchen. I've replaced the windows in my master bedroom, the kids' room, all over the house. But the reason I love Window Nation is because they have saved me money in the short term and in the long term on the energy bills, because I haven't had any payments for 2 full years, and they've saved me up to 50% on my windows. Plus, the best customer service around. They're never going to upsell you. So yes, you're going to save more on the deals that they have, but if you don't need to buy more, they're not going to force you to buy more. They're going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com.
Hey, it's your buddy Tom Waddle, and I want to let you know at Great Clips, they know you live a full life, which is why they're full of ways to make getting a great haircut easier. With online check-in, Great Clips works on your schedule, and with new features, you can see where you are in line, get a Ready Next text alert so you know when to go to the salon, and a haircut reminder feature that lets you know when you're overdue. With Clip Notes, they save your haircut details so you can get the look you love from the skilled stylist each and every time. It's nice to be on the same page when it comes to your haircut. Look, I know they use a number 4 clipper on me, but I'm not sure if that's on the sides or the top or even what a number 4 means. But with Clip Notes, it's all there, so I have nothing to worry about. So even when you're not thinking about your next haircut, Great Clips is. And when you choose Great Clips, it's going to be great. Download their app today. Also now, if you're interested, join a salon team. Visit jobs.greatclips.com.
Advantage Acura of Naperville, the #1 volume Acura dealer in Chicagoland. They have the largest inventory of new Acuras. Plus, they offer a 5% price match guarantee. Visit them today at Advantage Acura of Naperville or online at AdvantageAcura.com.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday, talking football with you here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. I'm more concerned with the head coach and the quarterback, but don't paint me as someone making excuses for the quarterback. Justin Fields has taken 101 sacks to this point in his career. That is awful. Yeah. He needs to be a lot better. I'm still more concerned about the head coach, though. I think you can eventually develop a quarterback. The thing that I keep thinking about is, like, think about one of the teams in the NFC that is they were a big surprise last year, and they're pretty good this season again. Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Did Seattle draft Geno Smith?
No.
Was he a hyped Seattle Seahawk prospect?
Mm-mm.
No. Second, third go around. He finally is kind of in a system, figured it out. He's developed. You can develop a quarterback later in time, but it is possible that that's not going to happen in this situation. That's not an excuse for Justin Fields. I'm worried that we haven't seen anything from the team in response to the head coach, and then also the defense has been so bad to this point.
Well, I think you're right to be more concerned about the head coach, because I don't know how bad this has to be for them to not get a shot at another quarterback because they didn't draft Justin Fields, right? Like, Justin Fields is going to take care of himself. He's got this year. He's got 15 more games to figure this out. And if he doesn't, because of the class that is coming out this year, that if the Bears find themselves with a high first-round pick, like a very high first-round pick, whether it's theirs or the Panthers, that the amount of talent coming out of college this year, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Quinn Ewers, Drake May, like all these guys, like you can watch it all day Saturday. There is tons. This is one of the best quarterback classes in years. And so you're going to have to make that decision on Justin Fields by the end of the year. But because they didn't draft him, I don't know if this coaching staff is going to get another chance or not. Like, are they going to get, like, they're not firing Ryan Poles. He's going to get a chance to draft a quarterback.
It looks pretty bad, though, if Poles hires a guy and within 2 years fires that head coach.
Oh, absolutely.
It's pretty bad as your first hire as a GM.
Absolutely. But if you've got, do you trust Luke Getsy to develop a quarterback?
I felt good in the offseason. I like what I saw last year. For some reason, they've ditched all running. And like that's the thing that I don't understand watching the Tampa Bay game. You have to build off of a base of something. Use Fields and his legs to then build a passing game off of. Use play action, get him outside of the pocket, have 2 tight ends in for blocking. Do all those little things you were doing last season and build upon it to allow Fields to develop. That's what is so weird and why I think Justin Fields said what he said this week, because he sees what we're seeing. He's living it. He saw last year they were having success when they were a run-first team, and then they were developing off of that. I remember, like, there were a couple plays, run first, here's a play-action pass where he fakes the handoff, rolls out. Cole Kmet has 40 yards in front of him of open space. That's a beautiful play call that took place last year. Have we seen that at all this season? No, none of it. It's just, we got you number 1 wide receiver, so drop back and hit him.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work. Al and Niles, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Al?
Hey, how are you?
Al, what's up, man?
Yeah, thanks for taking the call. Just wanted to make a point that 49ers made with Trey Lance. When you make an investment in a stock or you make an investment, you're a gambler, whatever you are, you don't win every hand. So you have to know when to fold them, quoting Kenny Rogers, and you know when to hold them.
Yes.
And the 49ers seem to know how to do that, and the Bears don't seem to know how to do that. If you have a coach that isn't working out, you cut your losses. You have a quarterback that isn't working out, you cut your losses. And then you move on, and you make a better investment the next time. You can apologize for Justin Fields as much as you want. You can apologize for Eberflus and so forth, but they're just not working. They haven't worked for a long time. And so there's a time where you just say, well, develop this, develop. It just doesn't work. 49ers had a 4th-string quarterback that's probably going to be one of their better quarterbacks that they've had because they cut their losses with the other ones. So it's a good idea to make an investment, try to develop it, stick with it a while. But if it doesn't work out, you got to cut your losses.
Thanks for the call, Al. Appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
There is Al and Al.
You got to know when to hold up.
Yep.
Know when to fold up.
Here's the problem with knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them.
Eberflus.
Yeah.
The Bears aren't built to win right now. The 49ers are. Like, think about it, right? Like, the 49ers have a great defense. They've got great weapons.
Bless you,
Christian
sir.
McCaffrey's on the couch.
He sneezed. He sneezed outside the
Christian
street.
McCaffrey
And looked
is
at us.
great.
He wanted us to acknowledge him.
I know. Well, have a good day, sir. Bless you. And so Trey Lance wasn't getting the job done. And so they went and he got hurt. And then Brock Purdy came in and he played really well. And they're sticking with him because he's playing really well. and they're built to win now. Like, going to Bagent doesn't solve any of your problems. The defense still sucks. Like, the defense is still one of the worst in the NFL. You're not built to win anything right now. If this was a team that was in every single game and Justin Fields was just costing them the game every single time and he couldn't, move the ball down the field, the problem is this defense is still giving up 30 points a game. Like, they're not good. So that's why I still think that no matter how many people call in and say we need to put in Bagent and see what he is, that doesn't matter because this team isn't going to make the playoffs. There's been 6 teams that have made the playoffs after starting 0-3 since the 80s. There's been 1 team since going 0-4. They're looking right down the barrel of 0-4 right now because I don't think anybody thinks they're going to win today.
No.
And this is the first time. Like, we held.
I would guess there are people in the locker room that don't even think they can win today. Think about it. They're going against the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Now, I know professional football players have bravado. They believe in themselves. That's why they're at the place that they're at. I would bet if you asked off the record out of the 53 men in that locker room, I bet you someone would be like, yeah, we're not going to beat the Chiefs. Have you seen us?
Not today.
John in Grays Lake, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, John?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. And you're definitely right. I mean, what we're seeing today is a full-wide failure of the organization as a whole. But I also, if I had to point blame, if we're going to do cause and effect, Eberflus' game calling is probably pretty limited because Fields clearly doesn't pass the eye test or execute the fundamentals. I mean, I don't know when this trend of drafting athletes who play quarterback is going to end. But the only guys that we've seen successful, the Mahomes, the Russell Wilsons, the Rodgers, they're quarterbacks first and athletes second, and we don't rely on them to use their feet exclusively and then, afterthought, try to throw the ball well. So I really do think Eberflus is limited. I think when Fields has thrown the ball, he's failed from his time. He's taken 101 sacks or whatever the number is, but he's failing on all the fundamentals. It's seriously neutering the play calling, and I just don't know. It seems like a revolving door at this point. I think he's got to go. And Badgen's not the answer maybe, but better than nothing. So this is getting old to watch. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John. Thanks for the phone call. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. Thursday night, we couldn't find Chauncey.
Oh.
He was in a duck blind. But today, we will get his picks for Week 3 in the NFL. That's coming up next.
Chicago Bears pregame. White Sox baseball on ESPN Chicago. White and red continue the battle for Sox supremacy. The series finale today at noon on WGN 720.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Abdalla, is that your stomach?
I think so. It's been making weird noises all day.
Of course it's your stomach, Adam. Take a hint. I'm starving. Do me a favor, get off your ass, satisfy your hunger, and go get the best damn chicken sandwich you've ever had.
Yeah, perfect idea. I'm off to Fry the Coop. The juicy chicken with the perfect amount of heat and those beef fat fries. Oh, baby.
Man, your stomach has more attitude than you after a Bama loss.
I heard that.
Fry the Coop. 8 Chicagoland locations for your cranky tummy.
Get 11% off everything for your next project now at Menards. October is Fire Safety Month, and Kidda Home Safety products help keep your family protected for when it matters most. Check out Menards' great selection of Kidda Home Safety products. Right now, pick up a 10-year sealed-in battery smoke alarm for only $17.97 after 11% off. Good through October 1st. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Tired of struggling with sinus issues, nasal allergies, or snoring? Visit Sinus and Snoring MD. Their expert ENT specialist can help. With extensive training in diagnosing and treating conditions related to sinuses, your nose, and snoring, Sinus and Snoring MD provides you with comprehensive care. They'll determine the root cause of your symptoms and offer personalized treatment. Improve your quality of life. Schedule your appointment today with the professionals committed to helping you breathe and sleep better. Go to sinusandsnoringmd.com and tell them Cap from ESPN 1000 sent you.
Marquee Sports Network is your home for Chicago Bears coverage all season long. Tune in throughout the week for Bear Essentials and Bears Den. And don't miss the official Bears postgame presented by United immediately after all Bears games. For the full schedule, visit marqueesportsnetwork.com/Bears.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. We take football very seriously as we head into week 3 of the NFL. The Bears will face off against the Kansas City Chiefs later on today. You can hear the game, Joniak and Thayer, right here on ESPN 1000, 325, right here on ESPN 1000. Well, we take football very seriously. Now, Thursday night, usually we talk to Chauncey from Chauncey's Great Outdoors, get his animal picks. We couldn't find him. He was in a duck blind somewhere in the wilderness. We could not make contact with Chauncey. So how about this? Since we take football so seriously, and we're on a Sunday, a special edition of Chauncey's Football Picks.
Do you want winners? Chauncey knows a keeper when he sees one. He sees every angle and knows all the right calls. Get your picks from a man who was raised by the frozen tundra. It's time for Chauncey's Picks with Bleck and Abdalla.
We bring in Chauncey from Chauncey's Great Outdoors, 6 to 7 a.m. Saturday mornings right here on ESPN 1000. So far this season, what is the record for Chauncey picking games?
Down week for Chauncey last week. He went 0-2. He picked both. We had 2 birds against cats, 2 felines and 2 birds. And he picked both felines, the Bengals and the Lions. They both lost. So Chauncey is now 2-3 on the season.
We go to Chauncey from Chauncey's Great Outdoors. Chauncey, 2-3 on the season. Time to bounce back. What do you say?
Yeah, I know. I was deeply depressed that I let my, mind take over my gut, and I switched one of my picks at the last second, and I know I shouldn't have done that.
No good. All right, let's get things going. Week 3, we have Falcons and Lions. Who would win in a matchup between a Falcon and a Lion?
Well, once again, the Falcons are high-flying birds. Not so much good on the ground, but, if the Falcons can keep it up or the Lions can run the ball better and, not get picked off on passes because the birds are hovering right over them. That's one of the key things about a Falcon. They can hover better than any other bird out there. Oh. And I'm going to have to go with the Falcons.
Okay,
all right.
Falcons.
Going with the Falcons. Our next matchup, the Broncos and the Dolphins. This will be taking place in the ocean at the home of the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins are first of all, people always, when you say Dolphins, they think of the old TV show Flipper. And there's an aggressive side to a dolphin. I mean, they've been known to kill sharks. They are high jumpers, fast swimmers, exceptionally muscle bound from the nose to the tail. Ooh. And where they may not have legs to kick, but boy, they ever smack that ball with their tail, it's a 100-yard field goal. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins over the Broncos.
Dolphins, all right. Got it down. All right. Colts and Ravens. Colts and Ravens, who would win in this matchup?
Colts are still a skittish animal, as we've talked in past. Ravens, smartest critter in the woods. And I think they're just going to use their intelligence and smarts, and they're going to take over the Colts on this one.
Okay, so Ravens.
All right, so we're going with the Ravens. We've got another cat bird for you, cat bird. The Panthers and the Seahawks, also known as, in your world, Ospreys.
The Osprey. Well, I think I picked against the Seahawks last week.
You did, yes.
Yeah, I did. That was my mess up. Okay. Once again, Seahawks, high-flying, strong, great talons, grab that ball a lot faster, a lot quicker. Panthers, ambush critter, only good for the short run. Seahawks are better on a long ball game. I'm going to have to go with Seahawks.
Okay, Seahawks down. And this is a big week, Chauncey. There are 5 animal matchups in the National Football League on Monday night, the second game. There are 2 Monday night games this week, Rams and Bengals. How would this matchup go?
Let's see. I would have to say, I think I picked against the Rams last time they played another animal. The Bengals, once again, large jumping animal, great camouflage. But they're not for the short speed. Yes, long speed. No. Rams, and as I mentioned every year about how they catch that ball, they're going to be running that line on the end of the field and never go over it. They're not going to step out of bounds. It's not going to happen with the Rams.
Good balance with the Ram, right?
Yeah, excellent balance. Well, you try balancing on the edge of a cliff over disaster. I know Abdalla would like you to balance on the edge of the cliff.
Oh,
over
I'm
disaster.
aware. Well aware, yes.
Well aware. But looking at this, I would have to say I'm going to have to go with the Rams on this game.
Okay, Rams.
Okay.
All
Chauncey,
right.
I have a question for you now that we've gone through all the matchups. You saw earlier this year, there was all these videos and all these stories about orcas that were teaming up and trying to destroy boats and having fun with boats. People thought that they were messing with them, but it led to them flipping over boats and they were tearing out the rudders and all that kind of stuff. Do dolphins do the same thing? Do dolphins mess around with people in packs and stuff like that?
No, they don't mess around with people in packs like that so much. They see a lot more about dolphins when they're trying to use the wake just to propel themselves, and so that's why people say, "Oh, they're playing with us." No, they're just they're surfboarding basically, and they're gaining speed. But they really don't want to mess that much with people. They'll come look, see if you're curious about you, but normally they're not going to want to become a friend of you because they're not that sure of humans yet. I'm talking wild though. No, it's not dolphins that have been in a zoo or a large aquarium. Things like that. Because, many years ago, I took years of classes at the Shed Aquarium when I was in high school. And, we used to mess with the animals, but they're imprinted on humans. The wild animals aren't,
Thank you, Chauncey. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Well, yes, we will. And I apologize for having very poor signal.
All good. All good. We got you. We got the picks in. We're all set. Thank you, Chauncey.
All right. Take care.
There he is, Chauncey.
Do you want winners? Chauncey knows a keeper when he sees one. He sees every angle and knows all the right calls. Get your picks from a man who was raised by the frozen tundra. It's time for Chauncey's Picks with Bleck and Abdalla.
You can listen to Chauncey Saturday morning, 6 to 7 a.m. Chauncey's Great Outdoors right here on ESPN 1000 Weekly.
If you want to bet the Chauncey parlay on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, I just made it with all of the teams, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, and the Rams. That is a plus 1,300 right now if you want to.
The Chauncey play.
Yeah, the Chauncey parlay right now. A 5-leg parlay pays 13 to 1 right now on FanDuel.
Rodney and Skokie, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Rodney?
Fellas, thank you for the call. I just wanted to say really quick, the last caller was talking about
Chauncey?
No, not Chauncey. Great segment, but not Chauncey, no. But the last caller said athletic quarterbacks have a tough time with, making reads or whatever. And I don't think that's the case. If you think about it, who's the last mobile quarterback or who's the last non-mobile quarterback to have success in the NFL, like high success? It's probably Tom Brady. Every quarterback now, either Patrick Mahomes, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, they all have to be able to move quick. So you can't blame it on, we're getting quarterbacks who are athletic instead of pocket passers, because I think the pocket passing game, although it is a great skill to have, is not the most important anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in that last caller, I would also say, Justin Fields at Ohio State was not a, quote, athletic running quarterback. He was in the pocket making plays down the field with his arm. So, you're right. It's what, are we looking at Brady? Joe Flacco was like a stand in the pocket type of guy, didn't move.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like most quarterback, Aaron Rodgers to me is an athletic quarterback. Well, a lot of the great plays from Aaron Rodgers, he's on his run, he's leaving the pocket, he's flipping the football. I don't know.
Well, think about this, right? We know who the best quarterback is. Who's the second best quarterback? right now.
Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow even had 75 rushing attempts for 257 yards last year.
He's an athletic quarterback.
He's an athletic, but he's not like, you don't think run-first quarterback with Joe Burrow, but he still had 75 attempts and 250 yards last year.
It's a must. And so you got DNs running as fast as wide receivers. You know, your quarterback has to be able to move.
For sure. Thanks for the call, Rodney. Appreciate
Thank
you. There is Rodney. We go to Marcus in Minneapolis, listening on the ESPN Chicago app. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, what's up, guys? So you guys were just talking about the draft class next year, the talent coming out, right? So I was just wondering, hypothetically, say if the Panthers had the worst record and they had the number one pick, which belongs to the Bears, what is your cutoff line? Or what is your line like? What is the idea that you have in your head of what you would need to see from Justin to pass up actually picking one of those quarterbacks if we got that number one pick?
So the question is, how good does Fields have to be to pass up Caleb Williams?
Right. Like, is it a stat thing? Is it a look? Like, okay, he looks good enough, or he looks okay, but not good enough to pass on Caleb? Like, what's your parameter? Just curious.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Marcus. I would say as of right now, through 2 weeks of the season, in his third year in the NFL, you take the quarterback. You draft Caleb Williams. Fields is still on the roster. And whoever the best player is, they're the starter. They become the face of the franchise. If that was Bears get number one pick because of whichever scenario, they have the worst record, Panthers have the worst record, however that works out, you take the quarterback. I'd say this. Last night, USC wins 42-28 over Arizona State. Arizona State's not good. Caleb Williams was okay. 20 of 31, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, a couple sloppy fumbles. He did have a couple rushing touchdowns, a lot of miscommunication errors with the offensive line, false starts, bad plays, delay of games. Caleb Williams has put up stats. He's going to try and repeat as Heisman Trophy winner. He is a guy that when things are rolling, he is awesome. When there's a little hint of adversity, the shoulder slump, the demonstrative body language towards teammates starts to kick in. You saw some of that in the first half last night against Arizona State. Saw a little in the third quarter until they started to balloon the lead in the fourth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Caleb Williams in this Bears situation right now, I'm not sold that it would change the history of the franchise like Mahomes has changed things or the Chiefs. I'm just throwing that out there. I kind of feel like Caleb Williams is the type of guy that's going to need the right situation to allow him to blossom.
I have let
is that a fair assessment?
No, it is. It very much is, and we saw that last year too. I'm starting to talk myself into Bo Nix.
Whoever the quarterback, the quarterback of the time is, right?
So just say what
Drake May.
Well, to answer Marcus's question, what numbers do you have to see, or what's the eye test going to say to you about Justin Fields to move on, right? Which Justin Fields are we getting? Are we getting the Justin Fields that came out last week and scored a touchdown in the first on the first drive? Are we getting the Justin Fields that later in the game, 8 plays, 90 yards in 4 minutes? There are times when Justin Fields looks great, and you're like, why can't you do that? I'm not saying that every drive needs to result in a touchdown. Obviously, you're going to struggle. But there are times, even in last week's game against the Bucs, before the 2 interceptions were thrown, where you're looking and saying, that's what it's supposed to look like. That 8-play drive where they scored a touchdown and made it 20-17, and they started to come back. That's what it's supposed to look like. I understand. Last year, the Bears were one of the best teams. They were the best team on their opening drive. Why? Because they can follow a script. There was something about when they go away from the script that they just don't have it. And I don't understand what it is. But then you see that drive last week after punts and punts and punts and punts. They finally put a drive together for 90 yards and score a touchdown, and it looks good. And you're like, that's it. Do that more often. But for some reason, we have to see it. I need to see more consistency. I need to see that kind of drive multiple times a game for me to be like, okay, fine. Not just flashes, not just a drive here and then nothing for a week, and then a drive here and then nothing for 2 weeks. As of right, if the season ends today, they're picking a quarterback. But there's still 15 games left.
I wouldn't be as down on Fields this week if he didn't throw that pick six.
Yeah.
You know, like, he had an okay game. Now, obviously, all the screen grabbers and YouTubers out there want to show you all the times he held on to the ball too long. Yeah, we saw it. We watched the game. I saw it. Not good. He has to throw the ball or leave the pocket. You cannot take those sacks that he's been taking. It's never going to work out. No. But if he didn't throw that pick six at the end, things actually weren't horrific. The pick six turned it into a horrific outing.
Yeah.
So you're right. If he progresses, then you would contemplate something else. If he's having a bad year like he's had to this point, you draft the quarterback. Sorry, that's just how it is.
You move on.
You got to move on. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000.
The new home of the Bears. Former Bear Lance Briggs is live in studio with Cap and J Hood tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
There are gas stations, there are convenience stores, and then there are Pride stores. Guys, it's Carmen to tell you, if you're low on gas, stop at a Pride store. If you've got a full tank, stop anyway. Grab a bite at one of their 3 restaurant concepts, Urban Counter, Taco Urbano, or the Pride Cafe. Great burgers, breakfast sandwiches, wraps, tacos, salads, and more, made with locally sourced fresh ingredients. The Pride stores, not your typical convenience store. Check out one of their 16 locations today, proudly offering BP or Amoco gasoline with Invigorate.
What's up, everyone? It's Zetterman. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Only a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, overs, unders, first touchdown scorers, same game parlays, and more. Most importantly, when you win on FanDuel, you get paid instantly. So visit FanDuel.com/Zetterman, that's Z as in zebra, EDERMAN, and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
While the warm weather has you feeling like new, get old with a money market account from Old National Bank and earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield. Whether you're saving up for something big or just for a rainy day, Old National is here for you. Earn 5.00% APY with our limited time 12-month introductory money market offer. To earn the promotional rate, account must be funded with a minimum of $10,000 not on deposit at Old National as of April 14th, 2023. Learn more at oldnational.com or visit a local banking center today. Offer not available online. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
Advantage Acura of Naperville, the #1 volume Acura dealer in Chicagoland. They have the largest inventory of new Acuras. Plus, they offer a 5% price match guarantee. Visit them today at Advantage Acura of Naperville or online at AdvantageAcura.com.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Bleck and Abdalla, we're heading into week 3 in the NFL. How about this, Abdalla? We are just moments away, 9 minutes away from the noon kickoffs around the NFL. Let's take a look at some of these games. There's a lot going on in the NFL. The Bears will play the Chiefs at 3:25 this afternoon. You can listen to Joniak and Thayer with the call of the game right here on the Bears Radio Network. Your home for Bears football. At 1:30, we will join the network pregame show. Sylvie, Lance, Dion, they'll bring you the pregame show of Bears and Chiefs. Then you'll also have 4 hours of post-game coverage. Peggy and Yurko after the game. Meller, Pat, and McKee 2 hours after Peggy and Yurko. So we got you covered with Bears content all day long right here on ESPN 1000. Also, just a note, if you are looking for exciting White Sox baseball today, you can hear the game on WGN Radio. Also, at noon, when the pregame show starts for White Sox baseball, because of rights with the different professional teams, a geofence goes up around the city of Chicago. So if you're listening to this show right now on the ESPN Chicago app, we thank you for listening. But if you're outside of 75 miles, it will go to a geofence.
Yes.
Therefore, if you want to continue to consume this show and the Bears pregame show and all your Bears content today, go to YouTube, YouTube Live, ESPN Chicago. You can also watch us on Twitch. So those are options if you're not using the radio. So those are the other options. YouTube Live, ESPN Chicago, and then also Twitch, ESPN Chicago. You can listen to this show afternoon. So we're both on for another hour and a half. And then you'll hear Sylvie, Lance, and Dion. But if you're listening on the ESPN Chicago app, we thank you for listening. But a geofence will go up when White Sox baseball officially starts through the app. So if you're outside of 75 miles of downtown Chicago, that's when that will happen.
Yeah.
And that's where it will take place.
But you can see our beautiful faces.
Yes.
Chris's beautiful face, my okay face. On twitch.tv/ESPN1000 Chicago or on YouTube Live and search for ESPN Chicago. It's right there.
Just want to make sure we get that out of the way before we get 1,000 people tweeting us saying, you guys aren't on the air anymore.
No, we'll get them. No, we'll get them.
We're on the air.
We'll get them.
We're here.
We'll get them.
You just got to consume us in a different vehicle. Either Twitch, YouTube, or AM 1000 will still work.
Oh, yeah.
100.3, HD2 will still work. We'll be here. Just wanted to throw that out there in case in 6 minutes you're listening through the app and you're like, where'd they go?
Who's this Shane Orling?
Why is he so angry? Deal breakers in the White Sox pregame show?
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker. My sister's mother-in-law or someone called me and said, hey, Shay.
Pedro Grifol, would you smash?
All right, noon kicks. We're 5 minutes away around the National Football League. The Saints are on the road at the Packers, and the Packers have a laundry list of players who are not active today.
Oof, yeah, everyone from Bakhtiari's not out there, and Jones isn't going to be out there. This game has gone from a Packers as a 1.5 favorite to now the Saints being a point favorite in this one, just based all of those injuries.
The Lions are hosting the Falcons, 3.5 favorite. The Lions are Atlanta 2-0 on the road. This is one of those games. If they walk away 3-0 today, people are going to start saying, they're going to start sniffing, this team's for real.
Yeah. And this is one of the teams, when you look at that NFC South, we were looking at this probably the Saints or the Falcons to come away with that division. But yeah, I think both of these teams, the Falcons and the Saints, can get wins against the NFC North today. And that's a battle I don't think we saw coming for the NFC South right there.
No, the Chargers are on the road at the Vikings, also a noon kick. Both teams 0-2. Loser leaves town, or else, you got to figure it out. You're going 0-3 for two teams that are supposed to be in playoff contention. It's not good. Brandon Staley, this ain't going to be good if you go to 0-3.
Since 1980, only 6 teams that are 0-3 have made the playoffs. Now, obviously, they've expanded the playoffs since, but since 1980, only 6 teams have made the playoffs after starting 0-3.
Now, of the rest of the noon kicks, there's 9 games that will kick off in about 4 minutes. I think, honestly, the only other game, there's 2. Titans-Browns, I think, is a little intriguing. Broncos-Dolphins. Can the Dolphins keep it rolling and cover a 6-point spread?
I think they can. Yeah, I think the other game I'm looking at, Chris, Patriots-Jets. Patriots 0-2 coming into this game. Obviously, no Aaron Rodgers. He's hurt.
You and your East Coast bias. That game is just watching paint dry.
No, dude. This is Bill Belichick. This is prime Bill Belichick. Can he get it done? Has he lost it? 0-2 against a quarterbackless Jets team.
What is it called when you have no saliva in your mouth? It's just
parched,
dry. Yeah, like that game just screams dry to me. It's not saucy at all.
I'll be watching it.
Well, of course, we're gonna be watching all the games, especially the ones we have money on. I'm taking Tennessee. I think Tennessee plus the 3.5 against the Browns. That's where I'm going today.
I like the Colts.
Oh, you like the Colts?
I like the Colts. I think they're
Ravens.
I think they're a little feisty. I know that I think you're getting value in the Colts at 8 because people know that Anthony Richardson is out and it's going to be Andy Dalton.
Is it 8? I see 7, 7.5.
I got it at 8 earlier.
All right.
I got it at 8 earlier this morning. So it's moved since the Tom, Dick, and Harrys are starting to wake up and make their bets.
Who? What?
Tom, Dick, and Harrys, the Every the Public.
Got it. Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000. We'll keep our eyes on the 9 games that will kick off within moments. It's Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday. We're previewing the Bears and the Chiefs. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
ESPN Chicago.
Hey guys, it's Sylvia. I want to tell you about my friends at Window Nation. I've told you about them for a while now, and there are more reasons to call them than ever. Right now, they've got a great deal going. The more you buy, the more you're going to save. I could throw you a bunch of numbers about buying X amount of windows, and then you're going to save this much, but you can save up to 50%. And I've called them a few different times. I've replaced the windows in my kitchen. I've replaced the windows in my master bedroom, the kids' room, all over the house. But the reason I love Window Nation is because they have saved me money in the short term and in the long term on the energy bills, because I haven't had any payments for 2 full years, and they've saved me up to 50% on my windows. Plus, the best customer service around. They're never going to upsell you. So yes, you're going to save more on the deals that they have, but if you don't need to buy more, they're not going to force you to buy more. They're going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Max has more than 1,000 shower doors, bathtubs, and showers to add style and luxury to your life. Save big money on beautiful shower doors that will transform the look of any bathroom. Save today on your entire bathroom update. All Max shower kits are 11% off at Menards. Good through October 1st. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Here comes on the new home of the Bears, ESPN Chicago, WMVP, WSHE HD2, Chicago.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. We're previewing the Bears at the Chiefs. Live from Arrowhead, you'll hear the game right here on ESPN 1000, 3:25 today, Week 3 in the NFL. The Bears are an underdog heading into this matchup by 12.5 points this morning. So we will be talking Bears football with you until 1:30 when Sylvie, Lance, and Dion take over for the pregame show of Bears and Chiefs right here on ESPN 1000. Shout out to Fry the Coop sending in some lunch. How about this? I've been at the station now the last 3 days. I've been here twice. And in those 2 days, Fry the Coop has delivered lunch, and this is fantastic.
My body is just a Fry the Coop sandwich at this point. My whole body. You know what I did? So we had a bunch of sandwiches dropped off on Friday. Shout out to Fry the Coop. Head to frythecoop.com. There's locations all over the Chicagoland area. You got time to get them before the game right now. Enjoy it during the game. I've got the sandwich where the bun is a donut, Chris.
It looks,
right now,
that looks like a brunch delight.
You can see this on Twitch right now.
In your hand right there.
YouTube Live. This is a Fry the Coop sandwich where a donut is the bun. It's delicious. So they brought a bunch of sandwiches on Friday, right? And I'd never had the Chicago hot sandwich before, where they put the jardiniere on it. And when I opened up the little thing when I got home, I was like, oh, it's just going to be another mild chicken sandwich. Delicious. Can't wait to eat it for dinner. It's going to be awesome. Had it for lunch. Just like I said, my whole body is just a fried chicken sandwich at this point. Open it up. I see the little hint of jardiniere. I'm like, oh, baby, what a surprise. Delicious. Spicy. Amazing. The fries, crispy. Love it. They're all over the Chicagoland area. Like I said, there's the newest one in Lincoln Park. There's one on Westtown. If you want to go there and watch the game, they're going to have the game on. They got a full-service bar there at the one on Westtown. Make sure you grab some of the chicken versus unicorn, their collaboration with Pipeworks. It's awesome. I can't wait. And the staff is getting here. Listen, Sean, Kevin producing it. They're already full. They're already also little chicken sandwiches. It's great.
They gave us so many chicken sandwiches on Friday. I took a few home with me. I actually still have one in the fridge waiting, ready to go.
Still good.
So now I've got, boom, lunch right now, a little dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe a little halftime snack. Hopefully the Bears aren't down 27 when I go to the Fry the Coop at home that I am enjoying. So thank you to Fry the Coop for bringing in lunch today, and shout out to them. Check them out. It's great. The chicken sandwiches are outstanding.
It's the best chicken sandwich in the city.
Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. Well, we go from good to not so good. And that's the Bears this week and what has taken place on and off the field in the last 7 days. On the field, they lost on the road to the Buccaneers, a game that they should have won. In fact, they were only down 3 points at the end. They had a chance. It was like, hey, kid, here's your moment. Right? On the road, deep in your end, you're more than capable of taking a team down the field, get that game-winning touchdown drive, lead us to victory. And what does Justin Fields do? He throws a screen pass that's picked off and returned for a touchdown. Complete and utter meltdown from the team in the actual game. Well, as we turn our sights to the rest of the week, it seems as if there has been a complete and utter meltdown in other aspects of the organization as well. It just seems like nothing has gone right this week, whether it be the quarterback speaking to the media and then having to walk back what he said to the media originally, whether it's Alan Williams resigning as defensive coordinator. New information this morning from Adam Schefter on ESPN television. This is the quote from Schefter this morning in regards to Alan Williams. Now, the Bears say it's a personal health issue to why he's leaving the team, why he resigned. Adam Schefter this morning is reporting, quote, not criminal activity, but it was inappropriate and Bears HR was involved.
Yeah.
That's from Adam Schefter this morning on ESPN television.
There's a story up on ESPN.com now from Adam Schefter. It says Williams was not involved in any criminal activity, like you said, but the Bears Human Resources Department was part of the process that culminated in his abrupt resignation Wednesday. A digital forensic search was conducted as part of Williams' resignation, according to sources who added that such a process was part of the team's standard operating procedure.
So that was from Adam Schefter this morning. A lot of speculation and wild rumors were out there throughout the week, but that's what happens when it's not announced to why something like this is taking place. You know, there has been some criticism in regards to the way that the Bears have handled the Nate Davis situation, just being away from the team for personal reasons. You find out what the personal reasons are, and you feel bad for the family, for the individual, and you hope that Nate Davis, after a death in his family, can be back with the team and be successful this season. But it shapes the opinion of the fan when they don't know. The fan was left with not really knowing what was going on with the defensive coordinator, and there were a lot of rumors out there this week. But Adam Schefter kind of filling in some of the blanks. Now, we don't have the full story yet, but some of the blanks this morning on ESPN television. Other things that took place this week for the Bears. They placed your left tackle, Braxton Jones, on injured reserve. They also didn't rule out that could be for the season.
Yeah.
So that's a major problem. Eddie Jackson, your starting safety, with a foot injury, didn't travel with the team yesterday. He is out today. Didn't travel. Friday, the injury report was released. Nate Davis, who I mentioned, the right guard, was back at practice in a limited fashion and was labeled and designated as questionable today. We'll have to find out later this afternoon whether or not he's active, playing, starting, whatever the case is for Nate Davis. There's a lot that went on this week up at Hallis Hall. I don't see any of it being good.
No, it's not. I think that the only good that came out of whatever was going on up at Hallis Hall was that this is an organization where the GM stepped forward and addressed it and took questions, right? Like the last GM, Ryan Pace, wouldn't have done that. He did one press conference and then you didn't hear from him again until the end of the season, right? So I think having a face of the franchise go out and say, yeah, we're going through some stuff right now. It's not good. But, we're behind Justin. We're behind Matt Eberflus. We're dealing with this stuff internally, that kind of stuff. I thought it was refreshing to hear from the organization that someone actually, besides the head coach who was scheduled to speak multiple times a week, actually stepped up and, had the press conference on Friday.
Thursday,
sorry.
Ryan Poles spoke to the media.
First and foremost, to hit it straight on, we have adversity right now. Slow start, 0-2, not where you want to be. We've dealt with life issues. We've dealt with injuries. And that's all real, and that's a part of what we do and what we got to deal with. The beautiful thing about our philosophy here, our organization, is we're solution-oriented. We work together to find these solutions and solve our problems to get everything back on track. To make it really, really clear, I know the outside noise, but no one in our building's panicking. No one's flinching at any situations. Not our owner, not our president, not our head coach, not myself, none of our players. Everyone's focusing on solving the issues that we have so that we can be a better football team. Flus and I were talking about last night, like we've both been through slow starts, rough starts, and got things back on track in our background. Him with Indy, I think it was 2018, myself in Kansas City in 2015. So sometimes you have these and you got to fight through it and figure out how you can be a better football team.
So that was Ryan Poles on Thursday. Now, some of what Poles had to respond to is from the quarterback's own doing. Justin Fields this week, when speaking to the media, essentially said that our reason his head is so jammed up with too much information is based on coaching. We'll play the commentary here from Justin Fields, but that response and then Fields then having to backtrack what he said later in the day, which is unusual for a quarterback to speak twice in one day, before a practice and after practice to the media. That doesn't happen. You speak once and then you've done your it's what's required of you as a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and then you move on. You don't come back to the media. So it was strange when Fields on Wednesday did that. Here's the question that led to all of this back and forth about the quarterback. He was asked, what did you like and what didn't you like from the Tampa Bay game? Here's Justin Fields.
Yeah, I thought, definitely like the times that, I felt like I was in a rhythm. I think, once we kind of get plays going, then, that puts the whole offense in a rhythm. So, we put a couple of good drives together on Sunday. Of course, things that I didn't like, I felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and, not playing like myself. So, my goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football. And that's not, that includes thinking less and just going out there and, playing off of instincts rather than just of, so much, so to say, info in my head, data in my head, and literally just going out there playing football. I mean, just going back to it's a game, and that's it, because that's when, I play my best is I'm just out there playing free and being myself. So I'm going to say kind of just bump all the, what I should do, what I, this and that, like pocket stuff, like I'm going to go out there and be me. So, yeah.
When you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much, maybe think too much?
Could be, coaching, I think. But, at the end of the day, it makes it, they're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I, can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week, and then when the game comes, it's, it's time to play free at that point. So, just thinking less and, playing more.
That's Justin Fields from Wednesday. The quotes that he said there were then put out on social media. Mm-hmm. Aggregators and social content creators started making graphics, and it went wild. It was wildfire. And quite honestly, it's not a surprise. A starting quarterback in the NFL saying that a part of the reason there's too much information and he's struggling right now with the offense is because of coaching. That's going to make news whether you're Justin Fields or if you're Jordan Love or any other quarterback around the NFL. If Tom Brady said that the reason he's struggling is because of coaching, that would have been a major story.
Of course.
So that happened. The Bears go to practice on Wednesday. Justin Fields comes off of the practice field, and he is alerted to this idea that ESPN television, every social media account is posting quotes of him saying coaching. And then he spoke again to the media after practice.
You guys' jobs are to get clicks, so it's like when you take my quote out of context, when you just say that, if you paint the picture on the inside out, like y'all are trying to split us up as a city. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches, never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take whatever happens in the game, I will take all the blame. I don't care. It's a drop pass, it should have been a pass. Put it on me. But never will you hear anything come out of my mouth to where I will blame it on somebody else. In this organization, my teammates, never will you hear that. So I just want to clear that up and just know that, like, I need to play better. That's it, point blank. If y'all, that's what I should have said in the first place. But, I was trying to give y'all more details because, I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do. And I try to give y'all the information y'all want for you guys' job. So I'm going to do that and in the future, but I ask you guys just to put the whole quote out. Don't cut it up into words and pieces to make it seem like I'm saying something that I'm not. So, again, appreciate you guys, what you do, and y'all have a blessed day. That's it.
So there's Justin Fields from Wednesday. He should have stuck by his original thoughts, and he should have just gone to practice, saw the clickbait that was out there, and moved on with his day and not respond back to the media. That's it. Simple. You said what you said. You're right. We're watching the games. We see what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
He's right. Justin Fields is right. They're not using him the way they used him last year. He's right. Don't walk it back.
I don't think he needed to walk it back. I have no problem with what he said. I think he's right. Sometimes these guys, they're giving him a lot of information. You need to do this. You need to do this. Look up. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, you and I were golfing yesterday, right?
Yes.
You and I play golf a lot. We mostly play golf together. We have a foursome that we play mostly every weekend with. When you, in the off season, right? I am on my phone a lot. I'm watching games. I'm watching TV. I'm scrolling through TikTok. My algorithm is full of golf videos. Mm-hmm. Do this, do that, do this. You need to fix your swing. Don't do this not to slice. Do this with your putting. Do this with your
There's
irons.
A million things you could do to fix your game.
If you have all that stuff in your head pre-swing, it's going to mess you up.
Well, I suck either way.
Regardless, I know that. You and I suck either way, but I'm talking about everybody else.
If I was on the tee box brain dead, I would still be bad.
I'm trying to relate it to the common man, right? To the common person who because everyone's out there golfing,
God,
right? A lot of people are out there golfing.
Was all messed up yesterday.
And it's
the worst.
Do this with your feet. Do this with your wrist. Do this with your shoulder.
Hips.
Open your hips. Have this foot slightly to the left because it'll keep you from slicing and all this kind of stuff. All of that stuff is also going through, not for golf, but for football, through Justin Fields' head. Right? I hope he's not thinking about his golf swing when he's about to throw a football. But, all that stuff is in his head. Look for this guy. Look, he's supposed to have 2 to 3 seconds to make a decision, right? And if they're pumping all this information into his head, it's going to mess him up. And and I'm not saying that he's not supposed to have anything in there. And they're not supposed to coach him. They are supposed to coach him. But there is a point where you can get to overcoaching. And both are bad. I'm not making excuses for Justin Fields. He needs to be better. We've seen him be better. He can be better. He needs to do it or else he's going to be out.
Well, to me, watching the first 2 games, it seems as if they clearly told him to not leave the pocket.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I feel like he just confirmed my thoughts watching the Tampa Bay game, that he was told not to leave the pocket. I also feel like they told him not only don't leave the pocket, but don't throw it into risky situations, 50-50 balls, which I think you need to kind of with DJ Moore. I don't know if I blame Justin Fields for not trusting Claypool. He threw a ball right to Claypool in the fourth quarter last week, right through his hands.
Yeah.
There was the play to the sideline that Claypool did fight for, which was a pick, but he knocked it out. So I'll give Claypool that if you want to say he went 1 for 2 in those situations. But it just doesn't seem like they're utilizing the legs of Justin Fields to then build a passing game off of. And that's the way I felt. And then when Justin Fields said that, I'm like, yes, that's exactly it.
And I keep going back to people saying, and we've said it a few times, so he wasn't a running quarterback in college, wasn't a running quarterback. Cool. Awesome. Guess what? You can run now. We've seen you do it.
He's pretty good at running the football.
You're pretty good at it. You were the best at it last year. Close to breaking a record, right? Close to breaking Lamar Jackson's record. You're good at it. I don't care if you didn't do it in college. Do it now, because sometimes it's the only way for you to get positive yardage. And I don't want to see you take sacks. Throw the ball away or run. Pick one.
Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday.
ESPN Chicago.
Courtney Cronin checks in from Hallis Hall and beyond all week long on ESPN Chicago. Brought to you by Purple Wave Auction.
Old National Bank is asking everyone to get old. But first, people have questions.
Will it take me years to get old?
No, getting old can literally happen in minutes.
Is getting old like a complicated process?
Not at all. Just stop into one of our banking centers or visit our website. We even have an app for that.
Will I look any different after I get old?
You may look happier and more relaxed with a banking partner like us.
Definitely want to get old.
Introducing Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What's up? It's Tyler Rocky. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 guaranteed in bonus bets, whether your first bet wins or loses. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, futures, same-game parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Tyler and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/Tyler. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You must be 21 and older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Joe here from Fry the Coop. I know what you're thinking. What makes your chicken sandwiches so special? At Fry the Coop, we fry all our bomb-ass chicken sandwiches in straight-up beef fat. Why? Because it's delicious. And because nobody told us we couldn't. We hand bread every single last piece so it's crispy and crunchy in every single bite. Best chicken sandwiches this side of the Mississippi. Prove me wrong. You deserve happiness. We've got your happiness. Fry the Coop. Eat local fried chicken.
Hey, it's your buddy Tom Waddle, and I want to let you know at Great Clips, they know you live a full life, which is why they're full of ways to make getting a great haircut easier. With online check-in, Great Clips works on your schedule. And with new features, you can see where you are in line, get a Ready Next text alert so you know when to go to the salon, and a haircut reminder feature that lets you know when you're overdue. With Clip Notes, they save your haircut details so you can get the look you love from the skilled stylist each and every time. It's nice to be on the same page when it comes to your haircut. Look, I know they use a number 4 clipper on me, but I'm not sure if that's on the sides or the top or even what a number 4 means. But with Clip Notes, it's all there, so I have nothing to worry about. So even when you're not thinking about your next haircut, Great Clips is. And when you choose Great Clips, it's going to be great. Download their app today. Also now, if you're interested, join a salon team. Visit jobs.greatclips.com.
The game is on the line. You need your best play. What's it gonna be? Do you make the call for welding or HVAC? Do it now and you could complete your education at ETI School of Skilled Trades in as little as 7 months. We offer day and evening classes to fit your schedule, and financial aid is available if you qualify. Visit eticampus.edu or call 888-830-7678 to learn more. ETI, it's your future. Own it.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday here on ESPN 1000. Kickoff for the Chicago Bears at Kansas City Chiefs will be at 3:25 today. We'll have the pregame show coming up at 1:30. Sylvie, Lance, and Dion right here on ESPN 1000. Sylvie's in Kansas City. He's out in the parking lots getting the sights, the smells of Kansas City tailgating right now. Wish I was there. Barbecue, brats, woo, baby.
He's got a face full of barbecue right now.
Yeah, that's the best way to pregame for a show is a fist and face full of barbecue. Bears and Chiefs on ESPN 1000. We'll have the game starting at 3:25 right here on ESPN 1000. Quick look around the National Football League at this moment. There are 9 games in action right now. Cleveland leads Tennessee 3-0. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Lions and Falcons, 6 minutes left in the first quarter. No score there. The Saints have the early lead on the Packers, 7-0. 6 minutes left in the first quarter of that one. 6 minutes left in the first of the Broncos and the Dolphins, and the Broncos are already up against it. Miami's up 14-0 already in this contest. Tyreek Hill has 2 receptions, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Tua's look good. Let's see. There's the Dolphins are just rolling offensively, so good luck to the Broncos in the heat.
That's next weekend, right? That's next weekend? Broncos, Bears?
Yep.
Two
Broncos
desperate...
country, let's rock.
Yeah, thank you, Russ. Yep.
0-3 teams. Yep. It's about to get dangerous.
Yeah, so dangerous. Look at you. Dangerous, man.
Spicy.
Chargers lead 7-0 on the Vikings. 2 minutes left in the first quarter of that one. Patriots and Jets, the game of the day in Abdalla's opinion. 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Why are you giving me crap? You were giving me crap during we were watching it in here, and you're like, I can't believe you want to watch this. I'm like, this is a big game for the Patriots. They can't go 0-3. Bill Belichick might be tarmac fired if they go 0-3.
Patriots lead 3-0 in this one. I've seen multiple third and forevers.
Yeah.
And the offenses are just going backwards.
Give it to me.
In fairness, I turned the game on. That's on me.
Yeah,
no, it's all good.
Kevin turned the game on, and I didn't think there was another option because I thought he was like, oh, well, there's nothing else on. Clearly the Saints, we should be watching the Saints and the Packers.
I thought you were serious when you said that you were into it.
First of all, I bet the under, and I bet the Patriots. So I want to watch the game, but that's fine.
See, Kevin and I thought you were serious.
I am serious.
I'm not an elitist when it comes to NFL football. If you wanted to keep the Jets and the Patriots on the TV, you're more than welcome to.
Put whatever's on.
But I would like to see if the Packers lose because I did take the Saints.
As did I.
Minus the
there you
point.
go.
So
listen, there's action all over the place today.
3 minutes, first quarter action. Buffalo, Washington. The Bills lead 3-0 in that game. How about this? Congrats to the Houston Texans. They have their first lead of the season.
Hey!
4 minutes left in the first quarter. Texans lead Jacksonville 7-0. The Ravens lead 7-0 over the Colts. 3 minutes left in the first quarter of that one. And those are the 9 games in the NFL that are playing right now. This afternoon, when the Bears are going to be in action against Kansas City at 3:25, there will also be a couple of other games, 2 other games, Cowboys, Cardinals, and then the Panthers and the Seahawks. Cowboys, Cardinals, interesting because Dallas is a 12.5-point favorite on the road.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of metrics and stats are suggesting that this team's for real. You know, every offseason, the hype is that the Cowboys are finally going to be back.
Yeah.
This team's really good.
Dude, I'm telling you right now,
really good.
The Cowboys are number 1 in overall DVOA. They have the number 1 ranked defense by 14%. That's an outrageous jump from number 1 to number 2. It's crazy.
Well, I also was reading as far as that stat goes, which dates back to the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They right now, the Cowboys through 2 weeks, have a top 10 all-time defensive number in DVOA.
Yeah.
Not saying that they are going to finish at that, but through 2 weeks, the performance that they've put on defensively is in the conversation of 3 separate Bears teams from the 80s. I believe 85, 86, 87 are in that combo. The 91 Eagles are in that combo. The Ray Lewis Ravens are in that conversation. And this Dallas Cowboys defense, through 2 weeks, super early.
Yeah.
The numbers will change as the season goes.
Dude.
But at the moment, they've gotten out of the gate with a very, very great start defensively.
They're 20 percentage points ahead of the next team. You know who the next team is? The second best defense in the league?
Second best defense in the league.
And then after that, their gap between them and the next team is about 12 percentage points.
Is it San Francisco?
No.
Not San Francisco.
AFC.
Cleveland.
Yes. Cleveland is the second best defense in the league right now through 2 games in the NFL.
Where are the Bears?
26th.
So those are the other 3 o'clock games. Tonight, Steelers Raiders. That's an old school vibe in Las Vegas.
It is. It's a good one. The Steelers a 3-point dog on the road against the Raiders. I kind of like the Steelers. And normally when the Bears play a noon kick, when we're on 8 to 10, you and I during breaks are sending each other teasers left and right. We're trying to make bets for the game. Can I interest you in an afternoon, evening teaser?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to go with the Steelers.
Well, let me guess. Steelers, Seahawks, Chiefs, Cowboys.
I went with the Panthers.
Oh,
to
really?
make it plus 10.5. Yeah.
With the backup quarterback. Huh?
I don't like going through the number to make through 0, right?
Yeah, I got you on that.
I don't like making the Panthers the Seahawks from a 4.5-point favorite to like a 2-point dog.
Well, you want to support Andy Dalton, who will be starting today for the Panthers.
That's the one I don't like. I don't know if I like. I could be convinced to change it to the Seahawks. I could be convinced. I don't normally like it. You don't normally like competing windows of games.
Yeah,
so
no,
we'll do 1 and 1. We'll do 1 and 1.
No, I could see the Panthers because like most people would expect backup quarterback, you're gonna get your ass handed to you.
Yeah,
But Dalton's a capable backup.
Yeah, he's fine.
So I mean, like you could argue that Dalton could probably start over a couple of quarterbacks around the National Football League.
Either way,
I'm just
if you
saying.
go Chiefs, Cowboys, Steelers, and then you pick Seahawks or Panthers, that's fine. You pick whatever you want to. 4-leg teaser pays 2.5 to 1 on FanDuel Sportsbook. So 2.5 to 1 plus 250 for that 4-leg teaser.
Here's the problem that I know internally I'm going to struggle with is I'm going to want to root for the Raiders tonight.
Why?
Because I like them.
Okay.
I just like the Raiders sometimes. Old school matchup, Raiders, Steelers. Great helmet. That's a great helmet matchup. Isn't that a great helmet matchup?
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the same mystique as when you've got like the Mind Freak doing like halftime and pregame like tricks, and Chris Angel's doing magic tricks, and they're doing like they've got all like it's not the same in Vegas.
Of course, it's not the same. Nothing's the same. What's the same anymore?
Give me Mike Tomlin as a 9-point dog. Come on.
The Steelers are always up and down too. They showed out last week on national TV. They showed out. Yeah. On the road. Really? Steelers? All right, Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000. We'll keep our eyes on week 3 in the NFL as we count down to kickoff. Bears and Chiefs, 3:25. Joniak and Thayer, you'll hear it here.
New home of the Chicago Bears.
Week 3, the Bears face the defending champs in raucous Kansas City. ESPN Chicago is your place to hear the game, plus so much more. Hi, everybody, it's Jeff Joniak. I'll be joined by Tom Thayer and Jason McKee for the call of the game starting at 3:25. You're in the pregame now, headed towards kickoff. Plus, 4 hours of postgame coverage immediately after. Bears and Chiefs on the new home of the Chicago Bears. ESPN Chicago.
What's up, everybody? It's Adam Abdalla. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on all of the action. The app is so easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options that include spreads, hundreds of player props, over-unders, and so much more. Don't forget about those same-game parlays available for most NFL games as well. So visit FanDuel.com/Abdalla, Abdalla, and kick off the NFL season with America's #1 sportsbook and my #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/Abdalla, Abdalla. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or over and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you've taken my advice and visited one of the Pride Store's 16 Chicagoland locations, then you know. You know it's not your typical convenience store. Amazing food, coffee, customer service, everything you need. But man, their selection of beer, wine, and spirits is truly unbelievable. A perfect mix of quality wines at every price point. A wide array of local craft beer. And man, oh man, their liquor selection and private barrel picks, second to none, believe me. Check out one of their 16 Chicagoland locations, proudly offering BP or Amoco gasoline with Invigorate.
Save 11% on everything. Now at Menards. Get the last roof you'll ever need with Menards Steel Roofing. Steel Roofing adds value to your home, offers superior wind and hail resistance, and is available in cut-to-length panels for fast installation. Right now at Menards, get 11% off. All steel roofing. Good through October 1st. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Step up your lunch game at Twin Peaks. Light yet hearty combos put together for you starting at just $7.99. Featuring savory soups like their green chili chicken, crisp salads, and a variety of sandwiches to satisfy your every craving. And don't sleep on their smoked and grilled wings, a fan favorite, the perfect mix of messy and mouthwatering. The perfect companion for some delicious wings? How about a 29-degree ice-cold beer in a man-sized mug? Enjoy your next lunch break with Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
To go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new iPhone 15 Pro that was just announced. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone every year. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and save Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and save Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slow. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement.
Advantage Acura of Naperville, the #1 volume Acura dealer in Chicagoland. They have the largest inventory of new Acuras. Plus, they offer a 5% price match guarantee. Visit them today at Advantage Acura of Naperville or online at AdvantageAcura.com.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Chris Bleck, Abdalla. It's Bleck and Abdalla on a Sunday. An NFL Sunday, week 3 in the NFL. We're keeping our eyes on 9 games that kicked off at noon about 35 minutes ago. And the Bears, they will face off against the Chiefs at 3:25. We'll have the game. Joniak and Thayer, your home for Bears football right here, ESPN Chicago. So, Abdalla, we are looking ahead at this game. And as a Bears fan, I feel like there is zero hope for a positive outcome or effort today from the Chicago Bears. What do you think they have for us?
I mean,
am I wrong to feel this way? I feel as if there is zero chance. They're only a 12.5-point underdog in this matchup. Usually, you know me, I love playing dogs when they're getting more than 10 points.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's about even. And when you get that many points with your starting quarterback, not like a backup to the backup to the backup, a practice squad guy, you take the points in this league. I don't feel that with this today at that stadium with that quarterback with Andy Reid. I just feel like it's not going to be good for the Bears today.
Well, usually, like you mentioned, you say, okay, over a touchdown dog, I'm taking the dog because this is the NFL. And it's literally why they call it the witching hour, where wins become losses and losses become wins. Because even if teams like we mentioned, okay, the Dolphins are out to a 14-0 lead. It's 14-7 now. Like the Broncos are coming back, right? Teams tend to at some point make adjustments and come back. This will be the largest dog that Matt Eberflus has been since taking over the Bears last year. They were an underdog of a touchdown or more 7 times last year. That's a lot. They were 3-14. They were underdogs of a touchdown or more for a reason.
In those 7 games, over 7 points or 7 or more, how did he fare?
3-4.
Okay, so of the games that the Bears have covered, because he's only covered 5 spreads as Bears head coach from last season into this season. Only 5 so far in his young coaching career.
They were all last year.
3 of those situations were as an underdog of over 7 points.
Well, remember the first the game against they got blown out by the Packers 27-10. So so they lost that one. The next one was the game against Minnesota that they lost 29-22. The next one was 33-14, where they beat New England 33-14. They were an 8.5-point dog on the road then. Remember that game?
Yep.
And then they lost. This to me has the feelings of the Dallas game. They lost 49-29. They were a 9.5-point dog. And if you remember, Dallas went out to that huge lead. And then the Bears slowly started to come back.
Bears, the quarterback.
Yeah.
It was the quarterback. Justin Fields brought them back in that game.
What's his face down, and they scored. They had a scoop and score and run for the touchdown, right? So that kind of put it out of reach.
Yeah.
But Fields kept on battling and kind of put them in that game. They ended up losing that game. Their last game where they were a dog of 7 or more was that close game against the Eagles where they lost 25-20. They were in that game. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl. I don't care if People Cap wants to say that the Eagles weren't trying. It's the NFL. You try every single game.
Wait, what was that? You snuck in there a David Kaplan shot? Is that what I heard?
It's not a shot.
I thought I heard you.
It's not a shot. I've heard him say it.
There's Cap.
His excuse is that the Eagles didn't care in that game.
Which game?
The Bears game.
Last season?
Yes. They just went out there and went, we'll half-ass it. And we'll be able to beat the Bears.
No,
it's the NFL, dude.
They're trying to win.
That's not how this works.
They're trying to win.
It was 25-20. The Bears covered that spread.
All right.
So, track record will say 3-4. Matt Eberflus might not have the team prepared to play today. And even at full strength, I don't know if this team would be prepared for what's going to happen. I don't think if Eddie Jackson was healthy, if Braxton Jones was healthy, if anybody was out there that was healthy, if they had their full team out there, I don't think that, based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks, I still think it would be 12.5 points.
Well, I think that's what kind of makes it tough, right? Like, it looks as a situation where they have no hope because we've seen them play against two teams that are not supposed to be championship contending teams this year, and they've looked really bad. Tampa Bay and Green Bay.
Yeah.
Neither are supposed to be playoff teams. Neither are supposed to be championship quality. Yet the defense looks bad, for a lack of a better another word. I was going to say something else, poor, which I don't know. Can we say that? Blank poor? The action of relieving yourself poor?
I think you can be...
You could be pissed.
Yeah.
And you could also be poor.
And you can also be pissed off.
Right.
But I don't think you can be on.
Right. Well, no, you definitely can't.
No.
Not on this broadcast.
No, you cannot.
Maybe in some other spots you could. It's not a search I use, but maybe if that's your flavor, who knows? But
I'm coming out.
All right, Cap, get out of there. I mean, unbelievable. David Kaplan.
I feel like that's
coming
it,
in the mouth.
like the 7
Sylvie.
words you can't say.
Yeah.
I think not one of them is that, but I think that there are rules as to what you can be peed about.
The letter P.
Yeah, the letter P. Yeah. P apostrophe D.
Walking around the house hanging dong.
Oh, yeah, and Shane Norling. Yeah, he's standing. He's in the producer's
He
studio.
got some fry
yeah.
the coop. How about that?
He's hanging around. There he is.
The dude,
with a nice wave.
I text, so he's upstairs. He was doing White Sox pregame. I texted him. I go, hey, man, come down and get some fry the coop. He goes, oh, no, I just bought a sandwich. I could hear him throw the sandwich in the garbage from upstairs.
Of course.
He just tossed it in as hard as he could.
Hey, what'd you get? A potbelly sandwich? No one. I mean, come on.
No one wants a salad. It's gross.
You got a salad?
It's Sunday, dude. No one wants a salad on a Sunday.
Shane.
You're not gonna. You
What
texted.
are you doing? A salad?
You're violently hungover, dude. You're not gonna soak up the alcohol with
salad?
some gross ranch dressing on your salad.
Come on.
Eat some fry the coop like an adult.
A salad.
On a Sunday salad.
That's a deal breaker.
That's some Tuesday stuff.
I did want to mention this as we continue to preview Bears and Chiefs to you, Abdalla. Wanted to preview this or kind of respond to it. Yesterday, college football. We watched a ton of college football yesterday. There were a lot of good games. Some of the heavyweights took care of business. Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Florida State escaped in overtime, beats Clemson. I was surprised that they actually pulled that one out because Clemson was like the sneaky pick this week going against Florida State. So Florida State stays 4-0. USC takes care of business on the road at ASU last night. But last night, the game of the night, Ohio State on the road at Notre Dame. And Notre Dame What are you doing?
Wow.
Did you think Touchdown Jesus was the 11th player on defense? No, seriously.
No, it was Lou Holtz.
On the fact that anyone's taking anything he says at this point in time seriously, for Ryan Day to be screaming about Lou Holtz after the game. And their final 2 plays defensively, if you haven't seen this already, Notre Dame had 10 players out there on the goal line. And so what does Ohio State do? They run it right at a spot where a defensive lineman was supposed to be, but he wasn't in the game. So congrats to Notre Dame for always being that team. You lose a big spot, big game against Ohio State. Ohio State's now 4-0.
Dude.
They win 17-14. They're ranked 6th in the country, and they continue on.
Dude, I had the tweet was out there. Congrats to Notre Dame on making the playoff, because they've got Duke next week and then USC, and I know you're a USC fan. You got USC shirt on, but your defense is trash.
Yeah. The USC is going to struggle against teams that can actually be competent offensively.
I had them penciled in with 1:40 left in that game. Penciled into the playoff with 1:40 left in that game. I could not believe that Ohio State marched all the way down the field and found a way to score and thank God they put a second left on that clock because they need to kick the extra point.
Gotta make the game official.
For some of us, that needed them to cover the 2.5.
Gotta make it official. So that was a great college football game last night. Ohio State escapes. Penn State was the CBS game. Now, I gotta kind of laugh. Now that the Big Ten has a contract with CBS and CBS is utilizing the primetime window for Big Ten football games, the CBS college football music doesn't hit the same when it's Iowa putting up no points on one side against Penn State. They win 31-0. I'm watching some of that game and it's like da 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 da, and you're used to seeing amazing SEC football.
Yeah.
And then it's like Penn State's up 21-0.
Well, you're not used to seeing.
What?
You're not used to seeing nighttime downpours
and winter hats.
Yeah.
Already.
No.
It's like I want to see, Ole Miss and Alabama
When
on
I
CBS.
speaking of which,
that setting.
When I turned on that game on Ole Miss and Alabama, and I did not hear Brad Nessler or Gary Danielson.
It's weird, right?
I was so mad.
It's weird.
I was. You know who? Vern wouldn't have handled this.
No, Vern wouldn't.
Vern would not. You put me in Tuscaloosa, damn it. That's what Vern would have said.
And then Oregon in the afternoon put it on Colorado. The Buffaloes score 6 points in the fourth quarter, 42-6. Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks look like they're for real. They're 4-0, and they take care of business. And I believe it's something that we talked about during the week. Each year in September, there's always a team that people crown before the real games start, when they're only playing the directional schools and the teams that are not ranked. And Colorado was that team this year. And I enjoy that they're a big story in college football. It brings eyeballs to college football. I get it. But listen, they were exposed against a real team last night, 42-6. Ducks over the Buffs.
Absolutely, man. And Bo Nix continues to look amazing. He's going to, I don't know what he's projected to go as in the draft. Top round for sure, but I don't know if he's 2 or 3. Everyone seems to be behind Caleb Williams now. I don't know if he's going to, beat Drake May. Obviously all that stuff is fluid until we get to the actual draft. But yeah, I mean, and I love Dan Lanning. Love Dan Lanning telling them before the game, this is about clicks. This isn't about clicks. This is about wins. This game isn't going to be played in Hollywood. It's going to be played on the field. Like, the dude was out for blood. And even a few NFL and college football reporters were starting to tweet once the game was getting out of hand that Dan Lanning kind of represents these coaches that believe that their programs that are better aren't getting enough of the spotlight because of Deion and his Colorado squad.
Well, and that's fine. And again, that's kind of how September works. September always crowns someone who has no chance of making the college football playoff, but they're the hyped team and everyone wants to talk about it. I mean, heck, College Game Days, they were there. They're going back, or the Big Noon Kickoff is going back. Like, Fox and ESPN is utilizing this wave of Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes being relevant, which is great. They should be relevant. I like that. they're not ready for the maximum spotlight yet.
No. And
Not
look,
yet.
their first 2 games,
Colorado
fine.
State
they won.
is a different beast than Oregon.
TCU with 900 transfers is different. Like they might score against USC. Right? Like they might score because USC's defense isn't great.
I mean,
Sanders is a great quarterback. Like he's going to be out there making plays.
You, Kevin, Sean, and I could, yeah.
I thought you meant you isn't like the royal you.
No. You guys, if you guys are out there against the USC defense and Alex Grinch, I'm sure you could score. You could muster up something. Give him enough time.
Sean
Don't
can
make a
win the
mistake.
50-50 balls. He's got hops. I'm telling you, man. The dude can win the 50-50 balls.
I slept wrong a couple nights ago, though, so my neck hurts. I would be a liability, I think.
The only other, Alabama beats Ole Miss 24-10. The only other game I really enjoyed watching the Pac-2, Oregon State and Washington State.
It's a fun game.
Wazoo wins 38-35. That was a fun game to watch last night, but a lot of good college football yesterday, and next week should be an exciting weekend of college football as well.
And because they're on the West Coast, we don't like Washington is legit, dude.
Yeah, Washington
is absolutely legit. If you can stay up, watch the games, because Michael Penix Jr. is playing out of his mind. That defense is good. Like, they're a good football team. They're really the Pac, whatever it is now,
Pac-2
for the rest of this year is fun. I just hope they don't start to cannibalize themselves like they usually end up doing and keep each other out of the playoff.
It'll happen. Bleck and Abdalla.
Chicago Bears pregame. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus joins Cap and Jay Hood tomorrow morning at 8:30 on ESPN Chicago, the new home of the Chicago Bears.
Tired of struggling with sinus issues, nasal allergies, or snoring? Visit Sinus and Snoring MD. Their expert ENT specialist can help. With extensive training in diagnosing and treating conditions related to sinuses, your nose, and snoring, Sinus and Snoring MD provides you with comprehensive care. They'll determine the root cause of your symptoms and offer personalized treatment. Improve your quality of life. Schedule your appointment today with the professionals committed to helping you breathe and sleep better. Go to sinusandsnoringmd.com and tell them Cap from ESPN 1000 sent you.
Hey, Joe here from Fry the Coop. Around here, we like to keep things simple and honest. At Fry the Coop, we fry all our chicken and fries in beef fat. Why? I thought you'd never ask. First off, it's delicious. Secondly, it's 0% seed oils, unlike those other guys. And lastly, you heard me say it's delicious, right? At Fry the Coop, we only serve happiness, one sandwich at a time.
While the warm weather has you feeling like new, get old with a money market account from Old National Bank and earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield. Whether you're saving up for something big or just for a rainy day, Old National is here for you. Earn 5.00% APY with our limited time 12-month introductory money market offer. To earn the promotional rate, account must be funded with a minimum of $10,000 not on deposit at Old National as of April 14th, 2023. Learn more at oldnational.com or visit a local banking center today. Offer not available online. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
Football fans, the best spot for cash betting and big screen entertainment is in the PointsBet Sportsbook at Club Hawthorne Betting Bars. Pro and college action, including Illinois teams, on dozens of big screen TVs in Prospect Heights, Villa Park, Crestwood, and at the track. Plus, horse races from around the country with big odds opportunities every few minutes. See photos, menus, and locations at HawthorneBettingBars.com. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER to get help.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
You can't make that up.
Deshaun Watson just threw the ball backwards 20 yards.
Bleck and Abdalla. All right, so as we take a look at the National Football League, as we count you down to Bears and Chiefs at 3:25 with Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer, your home for Bears football. Tennessee, Cleveland, the Browns lead 10-3. 9 minutes left in the second quarter, Abdalla, but we just watched one of the most hilarious football plays I think I've ever seen from Deshaun Watson.
It's 3-3. It looks like it's a play action of some form. Deshaun Watson keeps the ball. He goes to run to the outside. He's about to get tackled, throws the ball backwards to the running back, and it goes over him, so it goes back. They were at the 50, and it went back to the 30-yard line. He literally threw the ball back 20 yards. Like, it was bad. It was real bad.
The way he threw it was like, have you ever seen actors who are trying out to be in a football movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, you have to be the quarterback.
I watched Trubisky play.
Can you show us, do a throw? You know, because they don't say like, hey, pass the football. They'll be like, do a throw for us. And then the kid's like,
yeah,
he has no concept of how to throw
There's
anything.
that one GIF that goes around from the movie. What's it called? The Duff.
Yes.
And he throws it. And you know what I found out yesterday?
That's what it looks like.
I found out the story behind that GIF yesterday, actually. The story is, people that know behind the GIF. As
we can't wait.
To invite you into behind the GIF. Apparently, the cameraman was so close that if he fully extended, he would have hit the cameraman with his hand. So he had to throw like over the cameraman. Anyway, that was Inside the GIF on ESPN 1000.
Lions lead 10-3 over the Falcons. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Saints up 14-0 on the Packers. 8 minutes left in the second quarter. The Dolphins are a scoring machine. 21-7 over the Broncos. 9 minutes left second quarter action there. Chargers up 7-0 on the Vikings. Early second quarter. Patriots up 10-0 on the Jets. 11 minutes left in the second quarter.
In that game, the Jets have -1 yard.
Yep. Buffalo leads 10-0 over the Commanders. 8 minutes left in the second quarter of that game. Houston, Jacksonville. Houston leads 7-0. 8 minutes left there in a 7-7 tie. 6 minutes left in the second quarter between the Colts and the Ravens. 7-7. In that one. 9 games going on in the National Football League right now before we get to the Bears and the Chiefs. A 3:25 kick right here on ESPN 1000. I don't think it's going to go well for the Bears today. I don't think that's a hot take. But you know what might be more disappointing, Abdalla, is that if this is an all-time blowout, it might be bad because a certain somebody might be at Arrowhead this afternoon.
Oh, who's going to be there?
Well, there are rumors out there that Travis Kelce, tight end for the Chiefs, is dating Taylor Swift.
No. I thought he somewhat refuted those this week.
Yeah, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Once the internet takes something, they think it's real.
Yep.
And if people go out and they wait until other bloggers and whatnot say that officially is off, you have to say that maybe it's a chance.
Well, his brother said that he was dating her, and then he was on Pat McAfee show, and they asked him, and he said, hey, all I said to her was,
What's up?
I've seen you rock Arrowhead.
What's up?
You want to see me rock Arrowhead? I was noticing you noticing me. I just want to put you on notice that I was noticing you too. Like, he seems very Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with this line here. I've seen you rock Arrowhead. Do you want to see me rock Arrowhead? And now,
well, wouldn't you if Miss Taylor Swift was interested in your Adam Abdallah-ness?
Whatever I rock?
Yeah, you would be very coy about it. If think about that. If she was like, "Hey, I'm into that,"
I would not be coy about it at all. I would be like, "Yes, okay."
Here I am.
When and where?
So, how about this, Bears fans? Not only could today be terrible as just a football fan, but there's a good possibility that you're going to hear it from your significant other or your wife because maybe she's a Swiftie. And maybe she will be alerted to the beatdown that's about to take place. And she's going to wonder who the team that Taylor Swift is making fun of because she is now supporting the Kansas City Chiefs.
You're right. As a Swiftie, I will definitely tell my wife that Taylor Swift might be at this game. Do you think if she's at the game, do you think she's in
a box?
A viewable box? Do you think she's in a box where they can get her on TV? Like, is that part of the directive today? Is that whoever's directing this game in the truck says, one camera needs to be panning the suites to get a shot of Taylor Swift?
Well, no, I think the way it would work is they would know if she's there. If she's there, they know exactly where she'll be.
Do you think
whether or not she wants to fuel internet speculation on because if she's in the box watching, it's a wildfire. People are.
You think people start to show up?
What do you mean show up?
Well, because you've seen all this stuff like when
she probably has more security than the president.
No. But think of it. She was in New York at a restaurant and like the place got bombarded by people outside.
Well,
do Swifties bombard Arrowhead Stadium or whatever it's called now? Hold on. Geha?
What?
Geha Field at Arrowhead?
No, it's
Geha?
Arrowhead. I'm going with Arrowhead.
Well, look, no, here's the logo.
No. This is the same.
No,
this
here
is
it
the
is.
same concept with
Here it is.
Twitter and X. It's Twitter.
Here it is.
The Sears Tower and Willis Tower. It's Sears Tower.
Geha Field.
Yes,
Geha?
I see the.
Is that Geha or Jeha?
I see the sponsor
Geha
that's
Field.
attached to it. It's Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead.
My point is this: you can't put that performance out there in front of Taylor Swift. Bears.
No.
You got to bring something today.
I mean, she rocked Soldier Field for what is it? 4 nights, 3
Here
nights?
of all places, you gotta muster something today. Don't lose 42-6. Give us something.
I wish there was like a dance. Like if the Bears team had a chance in this game, like a good tackle of Travis Kelce for a loss, followed by like Tremaine Edmonds doing. The problem is Taylor Swift doesn't have like a dance. Like, you know what I mean? Like none of her songs have like a set. Like there's no Macarena to Taylor Swift songs.
She has a dance.
What's her dance?
She can dance.
I understand she can dance. But
right,
she
Bleck
doesn't
Abdalla.
have a dance, is what I'm saying.
We continue to preview the Chiefs and the Bears. Hopefully they're not embarrassed in front of Taylor today. We'll be back.
The new home of the Bears.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Hey guys, it's Sylvia. I want to tell you about my friends at Window Nation. I've told you about them for a while now, and there are more reasons to call them than ever. Right now, they've got a great deal going. The more you buy, the more you're going to save. I could throw you a bunch of numbers about buying X amount of windows, and then you're going to save this much, but you can save up to 50%. And I've called them a few different times. I've replaced the windows in my kitchen. I've replaced the windows in my master bedroom, the kids' room, all over the house. But the reason I love Window Nation is because they have saved me money in the short term and in the long term on the energy bills, because I haven't had any payments for 2 full years, and they've saved me up to 50% on my windows. Plus, the best customer service around. They're never going to upsell you. So yes, you're going to save more on the deals that they have, but if you don't need to buy more, they're not going to force you to buy more. They're going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com.
ESPN Chicago, the new home of the Chicago Bears. WMVP, WSHE, HD2, Chicago. A Good Karma Brands radio station. It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears. ESPN Chicago.
We're 30 minutes away from the Chicago Bears Network pregame show with Sylvie, Lance, and Dion right here on ESPN 1000. They'll get you ready for Bears and Chiefs. 2 hours of coverage until we get to 3:25 this afternoon. The Chicago Bears on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs, live from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer will have the call of the game right here on ESPN 1000. And don't forget, we have 4 hours of Bears post-game coverage following today's game. Yurko and Peggy, then you'll get Jeff, Pat, and Jason for the post-game. So we got 4 hours of coverage all right here on ESPN 1000. It's Bleck and Abdalla. We'll also be on the air tomorrow. Bleck and Abdalla will have a special Monday night show because the White Sox game has been moved to Thursday. So we will be on tomorrow to react to what takes place today. Unfortunately, as a Bears fan, I don't feel great about this afternoon. I would imagine that this is going to be one of those blank shows that the Bears are going to continue to be a part of the laughing stock as like the national media looks at the Bears, and they kind of have throughout this whole week because things have not gone well on the field and off for the Chicago Bears recently.
No, I mean, it starts on, again, it started 2 weeks ago with Alan Williams being away from the team for personal reasons and Matt Eberflus not expanding on what they were and didn't really need to, but then kept on getting asked questions. Will you continue to call the defense? When will Alan Williams be back? And then we find out that he resigned, and Matt Eberflus will be calling plays until they figure out who the defensive coordinator is going to be, if they get one, whatever it is. Ryan Poles met the media on Thursday and said that they'll figure that out sometime next week. And then you get to Wednesday, where Wednesday is traditionally the bigger media day for the Bears, for most football teams, because teams that play on Sunday, they have Tuesday off. They come back on Wednesday. Usually the coach meets the media and the quarterback meet the media, right? Justin Fields meets the media first, is asked about the offense, is saying that, he's got a lot of, there's a lot of voices in his head when it comes to what he's doing on the field. And when asked about, what they could do to make the offense, less predictable and lead to more of his fluidity and his style of play. And he said, I think maybe coaching. And he went into it more than that. But then just the word coaching and what's wrong with Justin Fields apparently was aggregated by every website out there, with ESPN, Fox Sports. It was on all the talking head shows. It was on national radio. It was everywhere. They go out to practice. Justin Fields comes back in, sees that it is blown up, calls the media back over to his locker to address it and say, guys, it was nothing. All of you guys work for clicks. You don't work for the story and all this kind of stuff. He was it's the most animated I've ever seen him in front of a microphone. And probably won't be ever that animated ever again, because he's probably not going to give you that much after that. But then Eberflus talks and says, yeah, and then Ryan Poles has to meet the media and say, yeah, we're going through some stuff right now. Oh, and by the way, their left tackle was placed on IR, and Eddie Jackson's going to miss the game because he didn't travel with the team because he's hurt.
Yeah, it's been a bad week.
It's been a week, man.
Justin Fields wasn't wrong with what he said, but he said it. And I think that's where I listened to the way he defended what he told the media, but he still said it. The media didn't say, hey, Justin, do you think coaching's the problem? They said, what's going on? Why is there too much in your head? And he's the one that offered up coaching. He said, quote, could be coaching, I think. He's the one that said that. The media didn't twist what he said or make a bigger deal out. If any quarterback in the NFL says that the coaching is the reason he's struggling to figure it out offensively, that's going to make headlines. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, whoever it is, that's going to be a headline. So, that's where I thought what he said originally was right. I agreed with him. I didn't appreciate that he tried to backpedal off of it and then blame the media when people took what he said and it was being aggregated virally everywhere. If you say that as the quarterback of a team in the NFL, that's going to happen. He was right. I agree with him. It doesn't look the way it looked at the end of last season when they were using his legs and allowing him to leave the pocket and play calling to his strengths. Tampa Bay looked weird. It looked like they said you have to stand on a spot 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and don't move. You have to wait and don't move, and hopefully you don't get your head knocked off. That's what it looked like. He wasn't allowed to leave the pocket. They weren't moving him out of the one play where he kind of did. He rolled out. He got a touchdown down by the goal line. But it looked strange. So I agree with what he said. I didn't agree with the way that he addressed the reporters after the fact, saying that you guys took what I said out of context. No, you said it. You were the one that said coaching. And so, all of this stuff leads to this idea, today, you got to play a football game today against a team that's really good. A team that's kind of getting back to what they're supposed to be. Last week, they won a hard-fought game in Jacksonville, finally getting Jones and Kelsey back. The offense is starting to kind of figure it out. They looked rusty last week, Kansas City did. I would imagine today, all systems go, right? Kansas City today, I don't think will have the struggles that they had last week on the road against Jacksonville. So, we're going to preview the game. Pregame show comes up in 24 minutes right here on ESPN 1000. There is news in regards to the Bears today from Adam Schefter. Alan Williams, Abdalla mentioned that the resignation and then the non-comment from the Bears and just saying it's a health personal issue. Schefter is reporting today on ESPN television and ESPN.com that Alan Williams resigned as defensive coordinator last week in part because of inappropriate activity. Schefter says Williams was not involved in any criminal activity, sources tell Schefter, but the Bears human resource department was part of the process with him abruptly leaving on Wednesday. So that information is out there from Adam Schefter. The Bears don't have a defensive coordinator. It's going to be Matt Eberflus, defensive-minded head coach. Theoretically, that should be okay. Moving forward, we'll see if he brings in someone to help him out too. But if you look at Eberflus, his defense hasn't been good to this point. 31st in defensive yards per play to this point. This team's up against it today. Like, I don't think there's any other way to paint the context around this game other than there is almost zero hope that they're going to show up and surprise us today. I would love to be wrong and have a victory Monday tomorrow and talk about how this win against Kansas City is going to shine some hope on the rest of the year. And maybe we have our quarterback. Maybe they figured out. Maybe they're playing for the coach.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like one of those surprise Lovie Smith games is in this group.
No.
Remember, like the Lovie Smith Bears did not win enough. The big games, playoff games, they didn't win enough. They got to Super Bowl. They didn't win a Super Bowl. They got to some playoff games, didn't get to multiple Super Bowls. But the one thing you could always count on them was those guys in that locker room, when the media crapped all over them all week and they were not expected to compete, that team under that coach would always surprise us.
Yeah.
They would always give you a win when you didn't expect it. And I love that as a fan. I don't feel that from this group.
No, and I don't expect them to win this game. I don't expect them to cover the 12.5. I think that the only way that they can really is if you go to Luke Getsy and you go to Justin Fields and you say, we're running everything today. Don't hold anything back. Doesn't matter. Just run stuff. Just run everything that you have. You've got every trick in the book. Run that. You know how, like, in college, when there's a heavily favored team like Alabama or USC or Clemson or Ohio State, and they're facing not like a directional school, but like a lower level conference school, and like you're like, oh man, why is this close in the first quarter? Oh, because Minnesota ran a flea flicker and scored a touchdown. Like, they're running hook and ladder plays. Like, they're running all this stuff. I'm not saying do crazy stuff like that. I'm saying open up that playbook. I'm saying get Justin out there running. Do whatever you can to try to stay in this game. Like, you don't need to go gimmicks, but you need to have some semblance of an offense that's not just standing in the pocket and running east and west. Stop this running east and west BS that we see all the time. Run not right into the pile, but make these north. Like, you've got Roshan Johnson, who's been playing really well. He's like the one bright spot on this offense so far this season through 2 games. Use him more. Use Khalil Herbert in the passing game more. Like, DJ Moore should get all of the targets. Like, use everything that you can. There should be more designed runs for Justin Fields. He should be open up this playbook like you did for the Patriots game last year. We saw none of that the first 2 weeks of the season.
You have 2 tight ends, one that's handsomely paid in Cole Kmet. Robert Tonyan is also a good tight end. And you have a fullback on the roster. Blasingame is a fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Use him!
Yeah.
Seriously, let's get 2 tight ends in. Let's get a fullback in there. Let's get some formations where you're moving guys around. Let's run the football and build off of that. It worked last year. Justin Fields is not going to be Joe Burrow. He's not. He's not going to just stand back there and make magic happen. He's not Mahomes.
Mm-mm.
But if you build up an offense around his legs and utilizing some of the players that you have on the roster, get the tight ends involved, blocking, moving them around in the formations, in motion. I love a fullback. Get the fullback out there. You know what team has an awesome offense that scores a lot of points, that plays a fullback a heck of a lot because it creates mismatches and you don't know whether a team's going to run or pass on any play? The San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
If there's one thing that I think our show on a platform, if we were running for Football Congress, on our platform, it'd be more fullbacks.
Yeah.
I love fullbacks.
Make fullbacks popular again.
It's great. You can't predict what a team's going to do, and if a guy can catch out of the backfield, it makes it even more lethal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to run the football, you said Johnson. There were a couple plays where he had lead blockers, and the Bears were moving people, and Johnson was getting through and getting some yardage, and then they didn't go back to it. utilize the fullback, get him out there on the offensive scheme, and then build it off of that.
I'd like to see more from Tyler Scott, too. You drafted the kid. He's supposed to be fast. He's supposed to be one of the steals of the drafts. Get him out there. Have him just run fast. Maybe he can get open. If Justin's going to stand back there for 5 seconds, I bet you Tyler Scott can get down the field and maybe create something, create a mismatch, whatever. Like, that's why you drafted him, not just to stand back there and return. Like, use these guys. Use who you have on the roster.
A part of my brain also thinks, like, if you don't think Justin Fields is the guy, why are you even not running him? Like, just run him then.
Exactly.
If you don't think Justin Fields is going to be here for 10 years, who cares if you use up his legs? Just run.
Well,
run
because
him. If you don't think he's the long-term answer, run him. It doesn't matter. He's not going to be here then.
It would make Luke Getsy obviously look better if the offense looks better.
Yeah,
because
they
if
score
you,
points.
If you determine that Justin's not the guy, but at least you're like, hey, this is what we dealt with the first 2 games. I tailored the game plan to him, and at least we were competing. We still lost. We know he's not the guy. At least you might not lose your job at the end of the year because you know how to coordinate an offense.
Josh in Mount Prospect. We're talking Bears and Chiefs. What's up, Josh?
Gentlemen, hey, love your show and
thanks, man.
Your conversation. Yeah. So just wanted to comment about the difference between the Lovie Smith era Bears and this era. And the first thing I want to say is the leadership of Lovie Smith cannot be underestimated in value. He's always been a guy who's gotten his players to play hard. They never give up. And whether it's because of character or competency as a head coach, between Trestman and Nagy and now Eberflus, these guys just don't seem to care to play hard for this coach. So, let alone the scheming, it seems to be just completely inept. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is just to say, too, is that the roster is just so much worse right now. We had excellent defensive players, Hall of Fame caliber, and so the defense could keep them in it. Currently, you could go through the roster of quarterbacks we had, and they're all above the level of Justin Fields' current level of play. Justin Fields has a higher ceiling, of course, than anybody from those years. But I just think that we just need to call a spade and say until Kevin Warren has an impact and Brian pulls further, and I think they need to fire Eberflus now and move on. Even defensive coordinator aside, this is just ridiculous. So I'm about ready to cash in my chips as a Bears fan. I'm watching the game today to see how many points the Chiefs score. Because I got Mahomes as my fantasy quarterback. That's where I'm at.
All right, Josh. Thanks for the phone call, man.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
I'd say this. I hope Lance Briggs is listening right now. I think the difference, though, is the players on those Lovie Smith teams, Lance, Charles Tillman, Urlacher, Olin Kreutz, some of the others, they gave a damn.
Yeah.
Show us today.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, go out and have the game of your life.
Show up, man.
Show us. Anyone on defense, does anyone want to step up? You're more than welcome to, because those guys on those other teams, they stepped up. Mike Brown would call out the team and say the performance isn't right.
Yep.
And what did the Bears go on a winning streak that season? What was it, like a 7-8 game winning streak after that took place early in the year when it seemed like things were falling off? I mean, they're more than welcome to surprise us. I would love to see a little fight. Tremaine Edmonds show up, creates havoc in the backfield, gets a turnover, a touchdown, something that leads to a win. That was the difference. Those guys gave a damn. I don't know. It's undetermined whether or not this collection cares to that level.
The problem is this team has surprised me the last 2 weeks because I thought they were going to win in both these 2 weeks. And now, surprise me again because I think you're going to get your doors blown off.
Right. And like, that's where it comes to this point. Like, as a Bears fan, like, when have you ever felt like this heading into a game?
We found it, the 2014 Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but
they lost 51-23 to New England, had a bye, and then lost 55-14. They only would win 2 more games the rest of that season. They ended up they had 5 wins that whole season, and Mark Trestman was fired.
Trestman, and then who were the quarterbacks for those games?
Cutler was the quarterback for both. Yeah.
It was bad offense. Cutler.
Matt Forte was your leading rusher, and Cutler was your leading quarterback. Yeah.
And everything was just going to hell.
Everything was fine, yeah.
And that
Brandon Marshall was there for the Green Bay game. I mean, he led in receiving with 112 yards.
That was right. So how many games are left in the season there?
after the Green Bay game, there was 7 games left. They won the next 2 games. They won 21-13 against Minnesota and then 21-13 against Tampa.
Who started the rest of the season? Was it Cutler? He was good the rest of the way?
Cutler started all but that one game, except for the Lions game against where Jimmy Clausen had played in that game. The second to last game of the season.
Give up game.
Well, they played another game after that, and Cutler came back out. I'm trying to see if if Cutler get hurt. No, Matthew Stafford started that game. He 23 of 39, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Matt Forte had 19 carries for 55 yards in that game against the Lions. Oof, bad game.
Bleck and Abdalla, we're previewing the Bears and the Chiefs. You can hear the game right here on ESPN 1000, 325 kick.
ESPN Chicago. Courtney Cronin checks in from Hallis Hall and beyond all week long on ESPN Chicago. Brought to you by Purple Wave Auction.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Hey, it's your buddy Tom Waddle, and I want to let you know at Great Clips, they know you live a full life, which is why they're full of ways to make getting a great haircut easier. With online check-in, Great Clips works on your schedule. And with new features, you can see where you are in line, get a Ready Next text alert so you know when to go to the salon, and a haircut reminder feature that lets you know when you're overdue. With Clip Notes, they save your haircut details so you can get the look you love from the skilled stylist each and every time. It's nice to be on the same page when it comes to your haircut. Look, I know they use a number 4 clipper on me, but I'm not sure if that's on the sides or the top or even what a number 4 means. But with Clip Notes, it's all there, so I have nothing to worry about. So even when you're not thinking about your next haircut, Great Clips is. And when you choose Great Clips, it's going to be great. Download their app today. Also now, if you're interested, join a salon team. Visit jobs.greatclips.com.
There are gas stations, there are convenience stores, and then there are Pride stores. Nothing compares to the Pride stores. Everything you need, name brands, and then craft sodas and nitro brewed coffee on draft made by the Pride at select locations. Whether I'm in need of a quick meal at one of their delicious restaurants or just a gas fill-up, I always seek out a Pride location. They are family-owned and operated with 16 Chicagoland locations, proudly offering BP or Amoco gasoline with Invigorate. So visit a Pride store today, not your typical convenience store.
What's up? It's Tyler Rocky. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 guaranteed in bonus bets, whether your first bet wins or loses. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, futures, same-game parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Tyler and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/Tyler. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You must be 21 and older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Start your next project today and get 11% off everything. Now at Menards. Add beautiful color to your projects with Minwax Wood Finish. It's a penetrating formula that delivers oil-rich color in one single coat and dries in just 2 hours. Pick up a quart of Minwax Wood Finish oil-based interior stain for only $10.99 after 11% off. Good through October 1st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Advantage Acura of Naperville, the #1 volume Acura dealer in Chicagoland. They have the largest inventory of new Acuras. Plus, they offer a 5% price match guarantee. Visit them today at Advantage Acura of Naperville or online at AdvantageAcura.com.
It's the Game Day Tailgate Show with Bleck and Abdalla on the new home of the Chicago Bears, ESPN Chicago.
Eight minutes away from Bears Network pregame with Sylvie, Lance, and Dion right here on ESPN 1000. They got 2 hours of coverage walking you into kickoff of Bears and Chiefs live from Arrowhead in Kansas City. The Bears and the Chiefs, you'll hear the game right here. Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer with the call of the game right here on ESPN 1000 this afternoon. So we've got 8 minutes until pregame right here on ESPN 1000. Abdalla, we will be back tomorrow, 6-8, right here on ESPN 1000. Monday night. How about that? Back.
Yeah, the White Sox, I guess there's a hurricane on the East Coast, so it's affecting some baseball games. So the White Sox postponed their game from Monday to Thursday. So full Bleck and Abdalla show tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Thank you to Kevin Zepak and Deshaun Graney for producing today's show of Bleck and Abdalla. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on ESPN 1000 at 6. Abdalla, there are 9 games going on in the National Football League right now. Cleveland leads 13-3, 44 seconds left in the first half. Browns are up 10 on the Titans. Falcons and Lions. This game is heading towards halftime. 13-3 Lions with the 10-point lead. How about this? This is a bit of a surprising score north of the Cheddar Curtain. The Saints lead 17-0 over the Green Bay Packers. That game is at halftime. Shout out to the Saints.
Well, the Packers dealing with the slew of injuries, but yes, indeed. Shout out to
poor Green Bay Packers. Oh, that's so sad.
Shout out to Saints.
The Dolphins lead 28-10 with just under 2 minutes left in the second quarter of that one. Dolphins and Broncos. The Chargers and the Vikings are in a tough one. It's 10-7. Vikings lead. 1 minute left in the half. Vikings with that 3-point lead. A boring game with the Patriots and the Jets. 10-3, Patriots lead. 14 seconds left in the half for the Patriots in that lead. They have the ball and they're driving.
You don't need to throw shade at my game of the week.
That's your game of the week?
It's my game of the game of the noon week.
You want me to put it back on?
No, that's okay. Well, this is halftime, so technically we'd be watching live football, but yeah.
Buffalo leads 16-0 over the Commanders. 19 seconds left in the second quarter of that one. How about this? Probably this is the surprise score so far. Texans 14, Jags 0. 31 seconds left in the second quarter of that one. How about that, Abdalla? CJ Stroud, 110 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Things cooking for the Texans.
Yeah, but if I'm confident in one team that can come back, it's the Jaguars. It's Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
Probably, yeah. Colts lead at halftime, 10-7 over the Ravens. And Abdalla said that the Colts would be feisty today.
I did. I took them with the 8. They were getting 8 points earlier today. I said, watch out for this Colts team and Andy Dalton. Or no, sorry, Gardner Minshew is playing for them. Gardner Minshew is playing for them.
Yes,
so
Dalton will be starting for the Panthers, and that's a game later against the Seahawks. So that game's a 3:05 kick in Seattle. Bears and Chiefs, that'll be in Arrowhead, 3:25. Cowboys, Cardinals, also a 3:25 game. Cowboys big favorites on the road against the Cardinals. And then the Sunday night game, Steelers and Raiders from Las Vegas later on today. So that's the 9 games going on around the National Football League, and most of them are at halftime or creeping towards halftime at the moment. Some surprising scores. Saints, Buffalo up 16-0, Texans up 14-0. It'll be a great afternoon of football, and we'll keep our eyes on it here on ESPN 1000. Bleck and Abdalla on ESPN 1000, the ESPN Chicago app. Throughout the week, our night show, 6 to 8 weeknights here on ESPN 1000. Sometimes Adam Abdalla likes to bring to the class some zoo news. Do you have any zoo news today?
Of course, Chris.
Oh, some weekend zoo news.
Well, hello, Mr. Lion. Here's the latest edition of the Zoo News.
And when the Bears are on the road, we'll feature news from the local zoo where the Bears are playing, Chris. And if you're in Kansas City and you've got some time after the game, you want to, brighten your spirit.
You probably could have given this information to Carmen and Travis Wacker and Jake Cantu and Yurko for yesterday. They could have used the Zoo News yesterday.
Well, tomorrow Carmen will tell you how I sent him directions to the closest Olive Garden in Kansas City, 20 minutes from their hotel.
Dude, I drove by the Olive Garden on Addison.
Hopping.
It was packed last night.
Saturday night for
Holy
family.
cow.
Family night.
No, seriously,
Come
I was
on.
shocked.
If you're in the Kansas City area and you
Wow.
want to go to a zoo, the Kansas City Zoo have added a new feature. They just opened. This is newly opened this month. Beginning of September, their new aquarium has opened. And literally their
Wow.
quote is, "We don't have a lot of people that get access to the ocean. We're in Kansas City, so people want to see the fish." So they built an aquarium.
Landlocked, of
Landlocked.
course.
So they built an aquarium. This is a fresh aquarium. This is a brand new aquarium. The ribbon cutting.
Seawater or freshwater?
Both.
Well, both.
Yeah, they got everything there, man. They got
That's nice.
saltwater and freshwater.
They got dolphins?
I don't know if they got dolphins.
Sea turtles?
They got turtles.
Any
I'm looking at a
whales?
picture of a turtle.
Do they
Probably
have a
maybe
beluga?
a beluga. Maybe a beluga. There's stingrays. I know
okay.
that. There's
All right.
stingrays. So you can go to the newest zoo. The ribbon cutting was just like September 1st. Like this is a brand new zoo.
Wow, congrats.
Or aquarium inside a zoo.
Well, that's great. There you go.
That's what's new.
At the zoo.
Yeah, so you can get more features like that on Bleck and Abdalla 6 to 8 weeknights on ESPN 1000. Looking for sponsorship for the world famous Zoo News.
Where you at, Brookfield?
I wonder what's new at the zoo, baby.
Lincoln Park? Where you at?
It doesn't have to be a zoo. It can be
Petco?
anyone.
Petco?
It can be anyone.
PetSmart?
You like sandwiches? You like anything? Beverage? Anything could sponsor Zoo News.
They
It's
could.
out there.
They could.
It's available. Bleck and Abdalla here on ESPN 1000 and the ESPN Chicago app. So I'm going to mark it down. I'm going 42-16.
Whoa.
Chiefs with the win.
Wow.
A laugher of epic proportions. And tomorrow is going to be, I think, an angry day that you're going to want to be tuned into on ESPN 1000. I think fans are going to have enough after today. I feel like that's the vibe.
I believe I told you my score earlier this week, and I'm not going to change it. 41-10.
Oh, so we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I said
almost.
41-10 earlier. I think they get blown out. I think that there has been, okay, so going into yesterday's Alabama game, they had shown me nothing to believe that they were going to win that game. They found a way, they won the game. The Bears have shown me nothing to believe that they are not going to get blown out in this football game.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
I would love it. I would like to be celebrating.
Yeah.
I would love to be cheering. Have those moments where you jump up off of the couch and you go, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that today. Unfortunately,
I don't think we will.
I'm a Bears fan, and it doesn't happen often. So, yeah, we're both going Chiefs in the 40s, and the Bears don't even get to 20. Yikes. Bleck and Abdalla here 2 hours before the 2-hour pregame show as we will go live to Arrowhead for the Bears pregame show. That's Sylvie, Lance, and Dion right here on ESPN 1000, and then kickoff at 3:25. Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer, you're home for new Bears football on the radio.
ESPN Chicago.
Like the other 31 teams who didn't win a Super Bowl last season, the Bears are on a hunting expedition this week.
This is how legends are made.
The Kansas City Chiefs, like all champions, are the hunted.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
The inherent expectations are that the Bears will give it all they got, their absolute best effort, and be a tough out for Kansas City. Because, of course, this is what teams chasing the kings of the league are expected to do.
Gonna get you. I'm gonna get you anyway.
Kansas City. Arrowhead, one of the most challenging venues to play in the NFL. Their fans are super cranked. You can sense when their hunt is on.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Driving them to a raucous fervor. Hey, you can actually feel the crowd vibrations in the broadcast booth.